どうなってる What is up? What is up? How do I do this again? I've been here for so long. It seems like I died. But we are here. I need to do this. I hate having to do this every time I start the stream. After I start the stream? Okay. Um. Uh. Yeah. Let's do that. Yeah. Okay. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, dun, dun. Give me one more second. Duh. これでいいかこれでいいかこれでいいかこれでいいか That should be okay. Kind of. Hold on. Wait. Ah, there we go. I think we got it. Roughly. Is that fine? Hold on. Was it always like blank space on top of me there? Was it always like that? Is that how we always used to do it? I need a background of some sort. I don't have anything for today. It's fine. It's fine. It's okay. Yeah, I haven't turned on my computer for like 3 weeks, so yeah, I'm kind of forgetting how to do everything. But yeah, we're here. We're back, and I cannot hear myself right now. Give me 1 second. Give me 1 second. これでいいかこれでいいか So, we're here. We're back. I'm alive. We have a lot to talk about. Where have I been? Well, hold on. I can't see anything on my computer screen. Wait. Okay, maybe that's fine. I don't know. Anyways, yeah, we're here. And yeah, where do I begin? Oh boy, where do I begin? January. I mean, January here is over in like, I don't know what time it is right now. 3 or 4 more hours. What a roller coaster of a January I've had. Holy. This month was probably the most roller coaster month I've ever had in my life. Honestly. So it all started New Year's Day. I had my taiko performance at midnight at the shrine, which I explained to you guys. I think I have the video on my second YouTube channel or something, partially about that. And then of course, on the same day, later that day, 2 major disasters happened here in Japan. The earthquake, the plane crash. And then a week after that, I had to start preparing for like getting like special clothes and stuff like that for a wedding that I was attending in Hawaii, which is where I was. And then that week after, went to Hawaii. First time leaving Japan in the 5.25 years I've been living here, so I haven't had a vacation for that long. So I went to Hawaii, was there for 10 days. For those of you that aren't following me on Twitter, then you'll have no idea where I was or what happened, or maybe you thought I died or something, as both of the YouTube channels came to a halt. Especially if you're not following me on my Twitter, then yeah, both of the YouTube channels came to an abrupt halt. So yeah, I was here, and yeah, so I was in Hawaii. A lot of things happened. Unfortunately, I couldn't really do too many activities while I was in Hawaii. I'll explain it to you when we watch the video, everything. So I was in Hawaii for 10 days. Went to Maui for 8 days, and then Honolulu for 2 days, and then came back to Japan. And then here's where the roller coaster really takes off. A day after, was it a day after? Yeah, it was exactly 24 hours after I landed back here in Japan. Unfortunately, well, fortunately, and I say fortunately, I'll explain why in a second. Unfortunately, I ended up in the hospital. Yeah, for about only about 6 hours or something like that. I had a mix of everything that you could imagine when it comes to after travel effects or whatever you want to call it, which is I had nausea because I had to from Hawaii from Honolulu to fly back to Japan. It was a 9 hour flight because you fly against the wind, right? Um, it was a lot of turbulence on my plane. Holy Jesus. I've never felt so much turbulence on a plane in my life. It was the second half of the flight where all the turbulence was. It was to the point that some of the turbulence, I actually like grabbed onto the sides of my seat because I thought the plane was actually gonna fall out of the sky. Like it like made my stomach drop a couple times. And I don't usually get that when it comes to turbulence. Usually I'm just like, oh, whatever, turbulence, okay. But quite a few times, at least 3 or 4 times, I was actually like, whoa, okay, when the turbulence happened, because like my stomach, my heart just like dropped because the turbulence was so wild. Um, so the turbulence happened, and I'm very nauseous when it comes to anything. So being in a car, going on a windy road, being on a boat, stuff like that, I'm very nauseous. I've always been like that my whole life, ever since I was little. I have a very weak stomach, and I get dizzy very easily. So, like roller coaster, like amusement parks, I will be the first one to throw up. I swear to God. So yeah, nausea happened, and then of course, jet lag. Hawaii is 19 hours behind of Japan. So when you're here in Japan, when you have jet lag, in the middle of the day, so like 2 or 3 p.m. or whatever, like lunchtime or something like that, it's like late evening in Hawaii. So I'm tired. I'm exhausted. So when I was at work, for example, which I had to do immediately the next day after I landed back in Japan. So we got home at like 9 p.m. because what we had to do is we took a plane, 9 hour plane, and then all that turbulence got off the plane in Narita Airport. So that's in Chiba. So that's not even anywhere near where I'm living. So then after that, I had to take a Shinkansen, so a bullet train, about an hour and a half into Tokyo. And then, or sorry. First, we had to take an express train, then Narita Express into Tokyo, which is like an hour and a half. And then from there at Tokyo, or not Tokyo, at Shinagawa Station, we had to transfer onto a Shinkansen, so a bullet train. And then from there, an hour and a half to get back to my city here. So, three different public transits. And yeah, all the nauseousness really got to me the next day after that. So we came back. By the time I came back into my apartment, it was just after 9 p.m. and I had to wake up at 6 a.m. the next morning for work. So yeah, I didn't get much sleep, and like I mentioned, jet lag. So I woke up at like 2 in the morning, and I was wide awake because 2 in the morning Japan time is like 8 a.m. Hawaii time, and that's usually around the time when we woke up every day in Hawaii. So yeah, I got like 2 3 hours of sleep maybe, and then I went to work. I was fine in the morning until around lunchtime. All of a sudden, yeah, the nausea, the tiredness, and whatever else there was, really got to me all of a sudden. And then a couple hours later, I decided, I was like, yeah, I'm no good. So I told my coworkers, I'm like, yeah, I think I should go home. I'm not feeling too well. They weren't happy to hear that. One of my coworkers was really angry with me. He was like, why did you even show up today then? He's like, we're all doing work here. You can't just go home. I'm like, I know, but like, I'm so dizzy right now. I'm gonna like puke. So they sent me home, and I got home. It's about a 15-ish, including traffic, about 15 minutes for me to get home from my workplace by car. So I was driving home, and then luckily, and I'm so thankful for this, when I was about like 30 seconds away from my parking lot where I park my car every night, all of a sudden I stopped feel my like, you know when you sit really uncomfortably for a long period of time, or like you sleep in a really weird position, you wake up and your arms and legs are like all tingly and then like numb. While I was driving, about 30 seconds away from my parking lot, my arms, all the way from my shoulders to my fingertips, both of them, and then my legs all the way to my toes, completely had all that weird tingly feeling. It just like ran down my arm in about like 15 seconds. It went from here all the way to here, and I was like, oh, that's weird. And then both of my arms, and then my legs. And then when I parked my car in my parking space, I got out of my car. Immediately, I collapsed to the ground, and I couldn't feel my arms and legs. It was weird. And then all of a sudden, I started breathing really heavy. I couldn't catch my breath, and I was like, why am I so tired? I can feel my arms and legs. So I knew something was immediately wrong. At first, I thought I had a stroke, but the one thing that I did as soon as I collapsed to the ground, the first thing I did was really smart of me actually, is I thought to myself and say, okay, what is still normal in my body? And that was my brain. I was still able to think properly. I was able to speak properly. So I was like, okay, it's not a stroke. I was like, it's not a heart attack either, because uh, I'm still alive, you know? I couldn't move any parts of my body at all. So I tried to pull out my phone, but I had no upper body strength whatsoever. I couldn't even hold my phone in my hand. I was so tired. Like, I had no feeling. It was completely numb, my arms. And I was just so tired. I was breathing so heavy. So I dropped my phone on the ground, and then I tried texting my mom, but I just couldn't. I had no strength in my fingers. So all my words were all like misspelled and everything. So then after I sent like two like 3-word texts to my mom, I immediately called her, and then I was like panicking on the phone. And I told my mom, I was like, yeah, can you come to the parking lot and come get me? Because I'm literally laying on the ground right now and I can't move. And then my mom came immediately, and she was like freaking out when she saw me because I was just laying on the ground next to my car. And I told my mom immediately, I was like, yeah, I think you need to call a hospital because I have no idea. Or not a hospital, call an ambulance because I have no idea what the heck's going on with me. So then about 5-10-ish minutes later, ambulance came. My arms and legs were, I had feeling in my arms and legs, but they were so weak. I couldn't stand up. So got to my hands and knees, and then the ambulance arrived. About 4 paramedics, a lot of them actually, and then they were asking me questions and stuff like that. One thing that they did is, obviously they asked for my name, my full name, and then they asked for my phone number as well, which is a smart move to check to see if my brain was still functioning, so they could tell whether it was like a stroke or a heart attack or something, you know. I was able to answer both of those perfectly fine, my full name and my phone number as well. So they knew that nothing was wrong with my brain. Luckily, I'm very, very, very lucky that nothing happened to my brain at all. It was just because I was really tired. So then I explained them. I was like, yeah, I can't feel my arms and legs. I can't get up. So 2 of them, they grabbed me under my arms and they picked me up and they dragged me over to the ambulance. And then I laid down inside of the ambulance on the, what is it called, the stretcher or whatever, for about 10 minutes, and they were just doing, I don't know what they were doing, tests on me and stuff like that. And then they were just asking me like, oh, how does this part of your body feel, stuff like that. And then all of a sudden, so we were inside the ambulance. There was 3 of them in the ambulance with me while I was laying down. Then my mom was sitting inside as well. And then all of a sudden, one of the paramedics, he looks at me, like he dead on just looked straight down at me, and he goes, we're gonna take you to the hospital. Like, all of a sudden he said that. So they must have, so then I thought to myself, I was like, they must have found something. And then later on, my mom told me that they thought it was my, what is it called? What's the word I'm looking for? Shoot, I forget what the word was that they thought originally it was that I had. Shoot, what was the word? Appendix. I think that's what they thought it was, my appendix at first. And then my mom told me that's why they all of a sudden said, hey, we're going to take you to the hospital. Because usually when you get something like what I had, where it's just like overexhaustion or heat stroke, for example, is a good one. They let you rest inside the ambulance because there's air conditioning and stuff, and they do tests and stuff like that. But they don't usually take you to the hospital. They'll just let you lay down in the ambulance for like half an hour or whatever, and then they'll release you. Or they'll take you somewhere close to where you live so you can get on and go home. But they actually took me to the hospital, which I thought was kind of shocking. Even I thought it was shocking while I was laying there. I didn't think they were going to do that. So then got to the hospital. I was throwing up a lot because I was so nauseous and everything while the ambulance was moving. But the hospital that they took me to was literally a 30-second drive away. from where my parking lot was, because like I tell you guys all the time, I live right next door to a major hospital, and then that's also the hospital that my mom requested when she called an ambulance. So since we live right next door to it, so fortunate enough, I was lucky. So I got really nauseous while the ambulance was moving, like 30 seconds down the road. That was the first time. I think that's the first time I've ever been in an ambulance in my life. I think so. I don't recall any other time. Um, so yeah, so they took me out of the ambulance into the emergency section. While they were pushing me, I started throwing up a lot. So they gave me like a bucket, because I was just so tired and nauseous. I started to get all the feeling in my arms and legs back, but I was just so tired. I couldn't move my body very much. So they were asking me every like 5 minutes or so. They're like, try and lift your arms. How far can you lift your arms? And then they did the, what is it called, the squeeze test, where I held one of the doctor's hand, and they were like, squeeze as hard as you can. So they wanted to check my strength and everything. And then they did a bunch of MRI tests on me throughout my whole body. They gave me weird medication. There was one medication, I've never experienced a medication like this ever. So they inject it into your, I believe it was in my arm somewhere. And then what happens is, as soon as they inject the liquid, it makes your whole body go extremely hot for like 30 seconds. Like you feel like you're boiling. You feel like someone just dumped you into a boiling tub of water. That's what it felt like. Like my butt, my shoulders, my face, my legs, my feet, everything just went boiling hot. And then during that 30 seconds, they did all the MRI tests. So I guess they wanted to check my body temperature or something. Or when my body temperature was like really high, then it's easier to see certain things through the MRI or something. I don't know. But that was weird. And after about 30 seconds, the heat just went away. It was so weird though. And then they gave me like a bunch of these powders. It looks like sugar, but it's like flavorless. It's apparently to help my stomach and stuff like that. So I've been taking that. And then some other medications as well, some like pills and stuff like that. But yeah, and then after they did all the MRI tests and stuff like that, they took me into like the rooms or whatever where all the patients are and everything. And then yeah, I started throwing up again because I was so nauseous. And here's one thing that was interesting. They didn't let me lay down while I was on the bed. They told me I had to like sit kind of like upright. I think that they didn't tell me the reason why, but when I asked if I could lay down, they said no. And I think the reason is because they wanted me to feel nauseous so that I could throw up, because then I'm getting rid of all the bad stuff or whatever you want to call it. I think that's the reason why they said that. They said it'll go out faster. And then while I was sitting there, we were there for about an hour or so, and I was every once in a while I was just like throwing up and stuff like that. They had a tube, or like a what is it called? Like a needle or something, and it was feeding me water so I wouldn't dehydrate myself, because I had no food inside of me because I threw it all up, and then of course all the liquid and everything. So to prevent myself from completely dehydrating myself and passing out, because I was already nauseous, I was already like overly tired, and I was still breathing really heavy as well. So the only thing honestly keeping me from passing out was the water that they were feeding me through the tube, to prevent myself from not throwing it, to prevent myself from passing out completely. But the problem was, and we had to stay there for like an extra hour or so, because I was throwing up more than they were expecting. So all the water that was going inside of me, I was ending up throwing it all up. So they had to put another bag of water and then attach it into me. And they're like, yeah, you're throwing up a little too much, so we have to do this again. So yeah, we had to, the water was like dripping into the syringe or whatever. And they were like, hopefully this time you won't throw it all up. So fortunately that time, most of my nausea kind of disappeared. Then after I got out of the bed and they released me from the hospital, I had to sign all the papers and stuff. Actually, I had to sign all the papers while I was laying in the bed. So while I was throwing up, they're like, we need you to sign this. I was like, why do you need me to do that right now? You know, all the insurance stuff. So after that, we had to sign more papers, get all my medication, stuff like that. So I was sitting in the hallway on like a bench in the hospital. And then I started throwing up again because I was sitting up, obviously. My body just wasn't comfortable standing and stuff like that. So yeah, that happened. And then after I threw up that time, I felt a little better. So then I told my parents, I was like, if we walk home right now, I'll be able to make it before I like pass out or throw up again. So me and my dad like escorted me home just in case I like collapsed or whatever. So my dad was like holding my arm while we were walking. And then my mom stayed behind to sign all the papers and get all my medication and stuff like that. I made it all the way home, and then I immediately collapsed in my bed and fell asleep. It was nuts, like how tired I was. I couldn't believe how tired I was. Like it was unbelievable. I've never been so tired in my life. So the doctors said there was nothing wrong with me at all. So they assumed that it was just overexhaustion, jet lag, nausea, like everything a mix altogether. And then loss of appetite. I had no appetite for like I had no appetite up until like lunchtime yesterday was the first like full meal that I had ever since I was in the hospital on Thursday, so 6 days ago. I barely ate. I only had like yogurt, banana, and then like glasses of water. But now I'm fine, as you guys can probably tell. I'm quite enthusiastic. I'm laughing. I'm better. My appetite came back. My nausea is gone. All that kind of stuff. I'm not really tired. My jet lag is almost completely gone. So here we are, and that's why this live stream was delayed. Because I've been back. I got home. What day is it today? Wednesday. Exactly a week ago today, I got home from Hawaii. So the stream was supposed to be like 6 days ago or whatever. But because of all that, here we are, and that brings us to right now, the live stream. So yeah, that's the roller coaster of a January that I had. Like, honestly, unbelievable. All the way up until the very last day of January. So, from the exact first day of January, so New Year's Day, all the crazy stuff happened. All the way exactly up until today, which is the very last day of January. Unbelievable. Honestly, unbelievable. That's what happened. We're back. We gotta start getting back into the groove of things because, this YouTube channel hasn't had a video posted for 3-4 weeks. The second YouTube channel has a video posted that I posted last night, and that's my trip to Hawaii. So finally we can start talking about fun stuff. Yay. Yeah, speaking of my Hawaii trip, let's watch that video, shall we? Because I told you guys I would explain everything that happened. So here we are. And yeah, let's find my second channel somehow. Oh, here it is. Let's watch my Hawaii video. So yeah, I was there for 10 days. We flew from Narita Airport. Well, I mean, I guess I don't have to explain it. We can just watch the video. I flew to Oahu because there's no direct flights. For some reason, there's no direct flights to Maui. From Japan. I have no idea why. But yeah, so we had to fly to Oahu first. And then go to Maui. Hold on, let me fix my camera. The cropping's a little bit off. Is that better? No. What? Wait. I can get it. No. Let's see. Dude. Good enough, whatever. Alright, so, here we go. Is this loud enough, maybe? And then maybe do some surfing. Here we go. Well, this is goodbye for a little bit. So this, yeah, of course, this scene. I had to put my car in the video because every single video includes my car. Every single video on the second YouTube channel. So the K-Wagon that I had, and then now the Hachiroku. So I was like, I have to include it. So the first 5 seconds is just me kind of randomly putting it there. Let's go on vacation. Bullet train. It doesn't look that fast, but that train's probably going like 200 kilometers an hour right through the station. When you're there in person, it's not only sounds 3 times louder than what it sounds like in the video, but it's kind of terrifying because of how fast it goes past you. So yeah. inside of the Shinkansen. This is roughly 200 kilometers an hour, I guess. Tokyo, Skytree. Golden Hour, too. Just the ending of Golden Hour. Ugh, sorry, I have a lot of hiccups. I just ate dinner, so I'm hiccuping a lot. So we had to go from here. I was carrying my suitcase. This suitcase that's right there. I had to take it with me. It's a small suitcase, so it wasn't hard. So we went from here, this apartment building. Right in front of my building, there's a bus station, so we took the bus because I didn't want to lug my suitcase all across the downtown. So took the bus. I was with my parents, so 3 of us. Took the bus to the station, which is literally 100 yen, 100 yen, which is like a 3-minute drive from here to the main station. And then from there, we took the Shinkansen, the bullet train, all the way to Shinagawa. Yeah, Shinagawa Station in Tokyo. And then from there, took the Narita Express that goes to Narita Airport. Yeah, and then when we got to Narita Airport, as I was dragging, or not dragging, but like pulling my suitcase, my dad noticed my suitcase broke and I didn't even notice. And my dad was like, "What's wrong with your suitcase?" I was like, "What?" The handle, so this part here, when you raise it up all the way, I believe it was the right side, the metal piece was missing. It was completely gone and I didn't even notice. My dad was like, "What the heck is up with your suitcase?" And then I looked at it and the metal piece was stuck inside. So I couldn't use the handle anymore. So we had to tie it down because it wouldn't lock either. This like button was broken. So I had to tie it all down. And then for the entire trip, so 10 days, so even when we got back here, I had to push around my suitcase without using this, which was irritating because the suitcase was so small, so I had to like lean over and push it and stuff like that. It was annoying. It was horrible. Unfortunately, that happened as soon as we got to the airport. Yeah. Yeah, and then I didn't film anything from the airport all the way to when we arrived in Hawaii. I just didn't do that. So it just skipped straight to when we arrived at our condo in Maui. We're finally here. A little bit different for you guys. Not Japan anymore. But yeah, we're on vacation now. I'm in Hawaii for the first time in 6 years, actually. I've been to Hawaii 6 times in the past, I believe. 6 or 7 times in the past. And now we're here again. I'm here for a wedding, actually. That's happening in about 4 days. So we finally got here. And now I'm just walking to my car because this channel is based on car stuff. So I got to show you guys the rental car that we have. If I can find it, I forget where it is. But it's somewhere. Is this it? I think this is it. I don't remember. So it was a Nissan Sentra, I guess. I'm sure most of you know better. Surprisingly, this car doesn't exist in Japan. I don't... Maybe it does. I've never seen a Nissan Sentra. I've never seen one here. I don't know. Oversized sedan. Which is so funny to me. So... Nothing special to you guys want. Oh, so I think... I don't know if I mentioned in the video or I don't know if we passed already. I said I haven't been to Hawaii in 6 years. That's completely incorrect. Now that I think about it, so what happened is... when I moved out of my original house, so when I first appeared on the internet for you guys, so that was my Twitch channel. That was what, 9 years ago, 10 years ago. The original house that I lived in when I first started streaming. When we moved out of that house, so me and my parents and my sister, from the transition from moving out of that house to the townhouse that I moved into right before I moved to Japan, in between that time, we had nowhere to live. So me and my parents, we went to Hawaii, and that was, how many years ago was it? I think that was 8 years ago, maybe 9 years ago, something like that. 8 years ago, I think. But in the video, I think I said it was 6 years ago that I've been to Hawaii, but that's not true. It was about 8 years ago the last time I was in Hawaii. Watching the video because, I mean, I guess most of you live in the US, so this is nothing, but to me, this is pretty fun. This car was junk. Absolute junk. All the dashboard lights were on, the check engine light, the oil, everything. Low pressure, everything was on the dashboard. And the engine, whenever you accelerated really hard, so when we were on the highways, Yeah, the engine, it sounded like a motorcycle. It was making like this weird flapping noise. It was like it was so weird. It sounded like a motorcycle engine.
Funny. It's a
Yeah, the car, it was so junk.
massive sedan. Left-hand drive. I haven't driven.
But the thing about Hawaii is, yeah, every car is like in trash condition in Hawaii just because Hawaii is a tiny little island, right? And anywhere you drive, you're near a beach. And then whenever tropical storms happen, like a bunch of mud fills up because Hawaii is a volcano, right? So all the terrain, it's not like dirt and soil, it's lava rock, right? So you get floods and stuff like that because rock doesn't absorb water, right? So floods and mud and everything. So cars are all trash in Hawaii. They're all like missing clear coat all over their bodies. They're missing like they've all got like destroyed like body parts and scratches and dirtiness and stuff like that, like mud all over them. Hawaii's like that.
Left-hand drive for.
I think that's one of the reasons to why majority of the vehicles that were in Hawaii or Maui specifically were like gigantic, huge, lifted pickup trucks with like massive tires, like monster truck tires and lift kits and everything, which I thought was so cool. But I think that's one of the reasons why people drive stuff like that in Hawaii. If I were to live in Hawaii, I would definitely do the same thing. I would buy like a massive, like a Toyota Tundra or something, or like a Ford F-150, and then put massive tires on it and lift kit and everything. I would love to do that.
I drove from car rental place to here, which is only like 5 minutes. And believe it or not, I did not mistake the windshield wipers for the turn signals.
I think I meant to say I did mistake the turn signals for the windshield wipers. I don't know which way I'm thinking.
So that's a huge plus that my brain.
But yeah, surprisingly, I was able to drive left-hand drive with no problems immediately. So when we picked up the rental car, I had my sister there. She was already there. And she had her own rental car. So I asked her to meet us at the rental car place because I was like, I'm driving left-hand drive for the first time in just over 5 years. So I wanted her to like escort me while we were driving to our condo, just in case. I didn't want to accidentally drive on the left side of the road, you know? So I was like, I kind of want to follow you just in case. I was perfectly fine, no problems whatsoever. I remembered all of the North American rules of the road, and I remembered to stay on the right side, not the left side of the road. Yeah, I was fine, and I didn't make any mistakes with the turn signals and the windshield wipers being reversed. I looked to my upper right to look in the rearview mirror rather than the upper left. Surprisingly, I did that muscle memory without making a mistake. Because obviously in Japan it's right-hand drive, right? So your mirror's upper left, right? I did not make that mistake. Surprisingly, I did perfectly fine.
Remembers left-hand drive and drive on the right side of the road and stuff like that. But yeah, this is the car that we have for the next 8 days, something like that. 8 days,
Absolute trash
So, yeah,
car.
we're gonna go places.
Don't get me wrong, Nissan Sentras are a good car. This car specifically that we had though, this rental car place was like really cheap, so yeah, it was junk.
Maybe, but right now.
At all times, whenever we drove on the highway, luckily Maui doesn't have freeways. They only have one single highway that goes from south all the way to the north side of the island. And it's just one straight road that goes for like 30 kilometers. You just drive straight across the entire island. That's all they have. Yeah, the car, honestly, when I drove on that road, it sounded like it was about to fall apart every time I accelerated because of the motorcycle noises it was making. Like the fan or whatever, the intercooler fan or whatever, was like messed up or something. All the belts and everything. It was it was nuts.
Yeah, literally just unpacking because we literally just got here. So we're gonna unpack.
Yeah, we stayed in. Well, for those of you that have been to Maui, Maui's a tiny island. So if I say the name of the place, chances are most of you'll know exactly where it is. We stayed in Maui Vista. I'm sure all of you probably have heard of that if you've been to Maui. It's pretty popular, and I think I've been there multiple times as well. But yeah, highly recommend it. If you go to Maui, stay at Maui Vista. That's a really good place. Super. It's like right in the middle of where majority of tourist people stay. Yeah.
We're gonna like walk down the road. Apparently, there's like a interesting grocery store or something to go to. So I'm gonna grab some food and probably Americanize myself as much as possible by eating like hot dogs or something. We'll see. We'll see. But,
It was great.
Yeah, we're here.
I did Americanize myself.
This is the first time that I've left Japan since I moved, actually. So for just over 5 years, I have not had a vacation. So this is great.
Yep.
I've been to Hawaii in 6 years, and I'm so happy I'm here right now.
Not
The
6
weather
years, like 8 years
really
or so.
cool, actually. It's quite. When we landed,
The reason why I said 6 years, now that I think about it, is because just over 5 years ago I moved to Japan, and then 6 years would have been like just under a year before I moved to Japan. So that kind of reminded me of the transition that I had from moving from my original house to the second house that I lived in, or the townhouse that I lived in. So I think that's why I said 6 years, just off the top of my head in the video. But it was actually, I think it was 8 years ago, I believe.
this morning.
And then 8 years ago, I believe it was Maui. Was it Maui? I think it was Maui that I went to. I don't remember. I've been to, including this trip, I've been to Honolulu twice. My very first time in Hawaii was Honolulu. And then my second time in Hawaii was the Big Island. I don't remember that at all, though. And then third, fourth, fifth was all Maui. And then the sixth, which I think was either this video or I think one extra more time, I've also been to Maui. Something like that. And then this was the seventh time. Something like that. I don't remember exactly. But I do remember first time in Hawaii was Oahu. Second time was the Big Island. And then third, fourth, fifth was definitely all Maui.
So Hawaii time this morning. It was actually cold. It was like 15 degrees. And the humidity is like almost non-existent.
Yeah, it was like
But
there was like no humidity when we were there. I guess I have been to Hawaii once during the winter time. The very first, was it the first time? Yeah. The very first time I ever came to Hawaii. So when I was in Oahu was also, I think, in December. It was December. I was in Hawaii for Christmas and New Year's. I remember that. And at that time as well, it was like almost cold.
I guess this is Hawaiian winter for you.
Yeah, I was able to, when we landed, I got out of the plane. There was like no humidity. It was kind of cold. I was wearing a hoodie and long pants in Hawaii, and I felt fine. Yeah, for the first like 2 days or so.
So right now it's like room temperature, maybe just a little bit higher than room temperature, which is nice. So yeah, it's pretty awesome. I do want to tell you guys the process to getting here was not easy because US is getting like really strict laws and stuff like that. So
Yeah, the US is really difficult to get into. Holy, even with a Japanese passport, which I used, it was very difficult to get into the US. Like, they question you so much, and they opened my suitcase like 3 times or whatever. It was crazy. Yeah, all the things. And then entering the US, we had to do all those fingerprint scans, but like a lot. Usually in Japan, for foreigners, they make you do a thumb scan, and that's it. Usually that's fine, and then they let you go immediately. But here in the US, I had to do thumb scan. I had to do 4 fingers, both hands, and then a bunch of like asking questions and stuff like that. It was nuts, and it took a long time to do that. And then going through all my suitcase luggage, everything, they had to go through all of it. And then any electronics that I had to pull it out and actually show it to them, and they had to clean it and everything. It was nuts. Like how strict it is. Even though I believe, I could be wrong, but the last time I checked, Japan has the how do I say it? The easiest going passport. How do you say it? Where like if you go into a different country with a Japanese passport, they don't really question you too much. Like, oh, you have a Japanese passport, okay, you're good to go. You know. But even so, it was nuts.
it was not easy. It took hours and hours and hours, and then
It was
finding
stressful.
our second plane. So we had to go from Japan, and we had to fly to Honolulu, and then from Honolulu we had to fly to Maui, which is where we are now, because there's no direct flights from Japan to Maui for some reason. Yeah, to find our
Yeah, I don't know why. There's no direct flights to Maui for some reason. Maybe because there's an overload amount of planes. The Maui airport, I forget what it's called actually. It's really small, but they do accept international planes. Like when I lived in Canada, whenever we flew to Maui, we used like full-size jumbo planes and flew directly to Maui. But from Japan, for some reason, they don't go to Maui. They only go to Honolulu, which is weird. I don't know why. Honolulu is like a full-size airport though.
second flight. So to get to Maui, took like almost 3 hour process, because we couldn't figure out where to go. None of the machines, like the automatic check-ins and stuff like that, were working.
Yeah, it was really stupid. The automatic check-ins weren't working at all for anybody. So you go to the airport and those machines are there, right? So you can get your boarding pass. So you just scan your passport or whatever you want to do, and then you get your boarding pass, right? That's how they do it now, right? Yeah, it wasn't working for anyone in my family. And then for other people, it's like other random people, not it wasn't working for them either. So everybody was like standing in the line for like the help counter, and then they were able to do it there. But I was like, this is so stupid. Why don't they just fix this issue? You know? So we had to stand in that line for like an hour, and then finally the people at the desk were able to get our boarding passes for us really easily. I was like, why can't they just fix this problem, you know? If every single person's not having any luck getting their boarding passes and everything, why don't they do something about it, you know? And like in that area, the automatic check-in counters and everything, there was no staff there. And I'm like, this is the most American thing ever, where there's no one there to help you if you need help or to ask questions or whatever. In Japan, you'll never experience that. Anywhere you go in Japan, there's always someone, regardless of whether it's the airport or like you're at the city office or anything, there's always someone there that's like, oh, can I help you? Always. Like Japanese people are just like that. They're like nothing. You can never like have troubles with things in Japan. There's always someone there that's like, oh, let me help you, or there's someone nearby where you can just go up to them and be like, oh, can I get some help, please? It's always like that in Japan. In the US, it's the opposite. They don't care. Well, I shouldn't say that, but like, yeah, US is more like that, you know, because it's laid back, right? North America is so laid back, right? They're just like, oh, whatever, they can deal with it. So you have to like run across the entire airport just to find like the janitor or something, and then ask that person, but they don't know anything about it. So they're like, so they kind of guide you, like, oh, go here and then go talk to this person or something like that, right? Yeah, it was ridiculous. Like there was no staff there, so like everybody was like, what do we do? So everybody was just going to the help counter. It was such a mess. I'm like, yeah, this is definitely North America for you. Nothing's convenient in North America. That is the perfect word I can use if you compare North America to Japan. Is North America is so inconvenient when it comes to everything. And a couple things I noticed is you never get help from people in North America. They expect you to do everything on your own. The next one is whenever you need something. So like for example, there's no convenience stores anywhere in Hawaii. There's no vending machines all over the streets, right? So if you got thirsty, you had to drive to the grocery store. That's the most inconvenient thing ever, you know? But in Japan, it's like, oh, there's a vending machine just down the road there. Just go there, pay 130 yen for a drink. Boom, you're good to go, right? But then in the US and Hawaii, it's like, oh, I'm thirsty. I'm so thirsty. I need a bottle of water. Great. Let's hop in the car. Let's drive 10 minutes down the road, go to the grocery store, pay way too much for a bottle of water, and then come all the way back. You know what I mean? So inconvenient. And then another one that I noticed, and this is definitely only if you're Japanese that you'll notice this, there's no akekuchi on anything. So when you open a bag of chips, when you open what is it, a box of cookies or whatever, stuff like that, or like cereal boxes, there's no like assistance when it comes to opening it. Japan has akekuchi on everything. So akekuchi is like, you know when you have like let's say like a packet of chips or something, and you have to open the plastic or whatever package. Japan has this system where there's like a slot so that you can just rip it open easily. That system doesn't exist in North America. So they expect you just struggle on your own, you'll figure it out, you know, or just grab scissors or something. I'm like, I'm in the middle of a beach right now. Why would I be carrying scissors with me so I can open this bag of chips? You know what I mean? Like, it's so inconvenient. Everything like that. North America is so inconvenient when it comes to everything. Everything. And then public transit in North America is a nightmare as well. So this is another thing that I noticed, and my mom definitely noticed this as well. When we were in Honolulu, we wanted to take a bus to get back to our hotel from one of the malls that we were at. So we went to the bus station. We couldn't figure it out. So we saw a bus that was out of service, but there was the driver was sitting in it. So we asked him. He's like, "Oh, go to this bus station." We're like, "Okay." So we went to the bus station. Our bus was supposed to arrive at like 3:15 p.m. or whatever it was, so we had like 5 minutes to wait. It didn't arrive at all, actually. So we were like, what the hell? It was like 3:30 and we're like, okay, our bus never arrived. And then we started thinking to ourselves, we're like, that's North America for you, nothing's on time. Whereas in Japan, everything is exactly on time. Everything public transit, so Shinkansen, bus, anything, train, everything is always exactly on time in Japan. You cannot be 30 seconds late. And if you are, the company has to send emails to everyone in that city apologizing, saying that, sorry, we're 30 seconds late to arrive at this station. Or, sorry, we stopped 1 meter too far away from the platform. So they send emails to everyone apologizing. That's Japan. Everything's convenient in Japan. In North America, it's just like, oh, whatever. They don't care, right? Because it's so laid back, right? So we found another bus station. We are like, let's go to this bus station. There's another bus that stops at that station that we can get on. So we walked over there, like a 2-minute walk. Waited for our bus. As time got closer to when the bus was supposed to arrive, more and more people started showing up. And then this is where my mom and me noticed immediately. Yeah, people in North America are the most impatient people you could ever imagine. And they just don't care about the people around them, the other people around them. So when our bus arrived, everybody just like huddled around the entrance, like the door of the bus, and then people just like shoved their way inside of the bus while people were trying to get off at the same time. I was like, what? And then I was like, right, we're in North America, we're in the US. In Japan, everyone always, whether it's a bus, whether it's a local train, whether it's Shinkansen, everyone always lines up single file line. And then the people that are in the front of the line, so the people that waited the longest, go on the train first or the bus first. But before that, you step out of the way and let the people that are on the train or bus get off first. And then you go on. In North America, in Hawaii, it was everybody crowd around the entrance of the bus. It doesn't matter who's here first. Whoever's closest to the door goes on first. And that's what it was. We were the first ones at the station, and we were like the last ones to get on the bus. Because everybody was so impatient. They were just shoving their way in the bus. I'm like... And then me and my mom just looked at each other and were like, yep, we're back in North America. And we couldn't believe it. I was like, damn, Japanese people are so behaved and so organized. And I was like, I never realized that because I've been living in Japan for so long. I'm just so used to it now. I was like, damn, I forgot North America's like that. People just don't care about the other things around them. And they just shove their way on. Like this old lady, she was like trying to push her way through everyone, get on the bus. I was like, really? Really? And if you call out to those people, they just get angry at you and be like, oh, shut up, get out of here. You know? But in Japan, it's like, no, everybody lined up single file. Okay? The people that were standing the longest get to go on first. Okay? No pushing, no shoving. You know? Like, is that too much to ask for? Can people be a little more like Japanese people sometimes? But at the same time, I should also say, can Japanese people be a little more laid back like North American people are? If we could mix all of those together, we'd have a perfect society in every country, right? Unfortunately, that's not the case. So, yeah, that was, I was kind of disappointed, and I was like, oh, yeah, North America for you. Yeah, stuff like that. No vending machines anywhere. Public transit's a nightmare. Everyone's always late for everything. They don't care. They'll apologize. The one thing that I did realize, and I thought to myself and say, oh, in North America, this does happen, is whenever I went to a public... So we went to a Target store, and I had to go to the bathroom while we were there. So I went to the bathroom, and when I entered the door, there were people trying to come in and out. So I held the door for the person, and everyone said thank you. Everyone was like, oh, thanks, man. Oh, thank you. Oh, thanks, man. You know, it was like that. I was like, in Japan, people don't usually do that. If you hold the door for someone, they'll just be like, oh, okay, yeah, whatever. Or something. Or you usually don't hold the door for the person because it's kind of awkward. Not because it's rude. Not because they're being rude. It's just awkward in Japan to do that. Unless it's a cute girl. Then, yes, by all means, definitely do that, okay? Or vice versa, if it's a cute boy. You know? But in North America, people always say thank you when you hold a door open for them. They're like, oh, thanks, man. I was like, oh, thank you. You know, stuff like that. I was like, oh, that's one thing that North American people do appreciate. You know? But that was it. That was literally it. And I was like, damn, it couldn't have gone farther than that. Unfortunately not. So, yeah, that's all the things that pretty much happened in terms of that kind of stuff.
Well, so yeah, it was a process and a half, but.
And then on top of that, when you're driving, everyone honks in North America. I thought it was more of an India kind of thing, or like Southwest Asia or whatever kind of thing, where people honk all the time. But no, North America's, I got honked at so many times. So there was one time, this I actually don't know, and one of you guys need to explain this to me. I don't know what the law is in the US. So we were at a red light. We were turning right. So the straight lane had its own 2 lanes. And then the turn right had 2 lanes, but they were separated by a median. I don't know if you guys understand what I mean. So the right turns. So the right turn had signals of their own, so arrows. The arrow was red. So the turn right arrow was red. So I stopped at the line. And then the cars behind me, they all started honking at me. And I was like, why? And then all of a sudden the light turned green, the arrow turned green, so I turned right. And then I was really confused by that, because I know that in North America, you're allowed to turn right on red light, which is equivalent to not being allowed to turn left on a red light here in Japan, which is illegal. You're not allowed to do that in Japan. You're not allowed to turn left on a red light. You have to wait till the light turns green. But in North America, you're allowed to turn right on a red light. But the signal that we had, the traffic light that we had, was specifically an arrow pointing to the right, so for my lane. And it was red. So what's the law in North America? Are you allowed to turn, or do you have to wait till it turns green? Because everyone honked at me behind me. So I went as soon as they honked at me, the light turned green. So I was like, okay, I can go. I'm fine. And then like 2 days later, I encountered the same situation, but I was behind the cars this time. The light was red at the right turn signal, and there was like 3 cars in front of me. They all went through the signal. They all turned right while it was red. So that really confused me. So what's the law? Why? What does that mean then? Like, people just don't care about the law or something? Or is it legal to turn right on a red light arrow? That's what I don't understand. Because I know a regular red light, when it's red, you can turn right. As long as it's clear. As long as cars coming from the left are not coming. And it's clear. But if you have a red light that's an arrow, so for your lane specifically, that says do not turn right on red light, what's the law for that? That's what I didn't understand. I was very confused because everyone was honking at me. So that's what I don't know. I've never encountered a situation like that, and I thought it was weird. I encountered that situation twice, and both times I didn't understand. I have no idea. So if any of you know, for those of you that are watching now, or for those of you that are watching the replay, yeah, leave a comment in the comment section of this video or whatever. Let me know what's the law in North America for that, whether it's Canada or US. What's actually the correct thing to do in that situation? Let me know, because I honestly couldn't figure out for myself. But yeah, that was one weird thing that I encountered.
Missed our flight, luckily. So yeah, probably just gonna grab some food now, and all the adventures will start tomorrow, maybe. I don't know how much of it I'm gonna film for you guys, so just stay tuned.
Yeah, unfortunately, I filmed like nothing. Majority of the video is just me talking, because 3 of the days that we were in Maui, there was a huge tropical storm that hit, and nobody was allowed to go in the water to do anything. It's like no surfing, no snorkeling, no swimming, no stuff like that. So I couldn't, and during those 3 days were the days where I was supposed to do stuff like ocean related. So either go snorkeling, either go surfing, whale watching. Whale watching got postponed to another day, luckily. But all that kind of stuff. So I will admit, the 10 days I was in Hawaii, and I'm dead serious about this, I did not go in the ocean once. Not once. I didn't have a chance to, but also I didn't have anyone that wanted to do some of the things that I wanted to do in the ocean, which was like go snorkeling and stuff like that. I didn't do that. Nobody that I was with, like all the 60 people that I was with, I don't think anybody went snorkeling at all. Even though that's like one of the main things to do in Hawaii. We didn't do that. Like it didn't come to anyone's mind and say, hey, let's go snorkeling. We just didn't do it. Every other time I've been to Hawaii, the first thing that we did was go snorkeling. Yeah, I didn't do that this time. No.
But yeah, I'm here with like, I think there's like 50 or 60 of us. There's only like
I think the exact number was 52 of us. I believe it was exactly 52 of us.
half of us here so far. All the other people that are coming, like the rest of my family and stuff like that, they're all coming in like 3 or 4 days. So yeah, we're kind of early, I guess. Some of the people came here like 3 or 4 days ago already. So yeah, so far I think about half the people are here. But yeah, we're gonna grab some food now because I'm starving. Then we'll get our adventure started probably in the next couple days or so. This is super, super nice. I can actually wear flip-flops once again. Yes.
Yeah, that was like the first time I was wearing flip-flops in a long time. So here in Japan, you get really hot summers, uncomfortable summers, I should say. It's not comfortable here. But regardless of where you are in Japan, excluding Okinawa, yeah, you never want to wear flip-flops or sandals. It's just so awkward in Japan and very uncomfortable.
Don't really want to do that in Japan, even though Japan has really hot summers and stuff like that. But it's
And during that time I was in Hawaii, the entire 10 days, I guess 8 days, the first 2 days I was actually wearing longs. Yeah, it was like the longest span that I ever wore shorts every single day. And then when I came back to Japan, the next day it was like almost freezing temperature, so I was wearing long pants and it felt so weird. I was like, I haven't worn long pants in almost 2 weeks. It felt so weird.
super city-like, so you really don't
Like it felt so heavy to wear long pants all of a sudden.
feel like you want to wear sandals in Japan. It'd be kind of weird. But yeah, I think actually the last time I was here, 6 years old, I think I stayed in this condo.
Yeah, I believe I stayed in the same condo actually. It looks so familiar, but I believe it was the other side of the condo. We were in front of a swimming pool. All the swimming pools were on the other side of the condo, so I think I may have stayed at this place once before. I don't remember the name at all. It's called Maui Vista, but that name does not sound familiar to me, so I'm not sure if it was this place or not that I stayed at the last time I was in Hawaii.
I believe it looks familiar, but I'm not 100% sure. But it was definitely like the other side or something like that. But it does look quite familiar because I remember this street and this place. So yeah, it's pretty cool. Our room is literally just like that one right there.
Yeah, my room was this one here, the second from the right, this one, which is cool. So the entrance, we had like a, what do you call it, veranda or whatever? What's the word in English? Not balcony. Balcony is this. What's it called when you're on the ground floor? What is that called? So we had a backyard entrance or whatever you want to call it.
Which is awesome.
So I didn't have to go all around to the main entrance. I could just walk right up to it.
Awesome, awesome. We have a what is called a doorway in the back because we're on the ground floor, so I can just walk up to it. It's pretty nice, pretty sweet. And a bunch of our friends and other families are all scattered everywhere within these buildings, so everybody.
Yeah, the rest of my family, so my cousins and aunts and uncles, were in this same condo, but one of the other buildings. So there's 4 buildings, I believe. They were in one of the other buildings, and then some of our other friends that also came to the wedding were also in some of these units as well. Everybody was literally scattered all over the building. It was funny. So most of us were in the same condo area, just like in really different units all over the place. So we all went to like visit each other every night and stuff like that. It was funny. Have like parties and stuff like that. It was fun. And then some people were in like different condos as well.
Everybody's everywhere, but
Everybody was like all over the southern part of Maui, which is cool.
yeah, we're just right here, which is awesome.
But most of us were in this condo that I was staying at. Yeah, the one thing I love about Hawaii is their natural common animal, street animal, or like city animal, is there a word for it? Was chickens and hens and roosters, and I love that, which I think is hilarious. Apparently one reason we asked when we went to return our car, we asked the staff there, we're like, why are there so many chickens like just naturally in Hawaii? Like, how did that happen originally? They explained us the history and stuff like that. And then apparently these chickens, hens, and roosters and stuff, they don't have predators apparently in Hawaii, so they multiply like crazy apparently. But then my brother-in-law said one thing, and I thought this was interesting that he said the one predator that they probably have are homeless people. So the homeless people probably catch them and eat them, which is possibly true, actually. It wouldn't be a bad idea for them to do that, right? So maybe that's possibly. That's what he was saying. He said that he thinks that possibly the homeless people catch them and eat them and cook them. Yeah, I just thought it was so funny, all the hens and roosters walking around just naturally in like mall parking lots and like supermarket parking lots and stuff like that. I thought it was hilarious. But all like the local residents there just treat it like as if it's just nothing special. I'm such a tourist.
Good morning. It's the next day here. It's like 8 in the morning or so. Today, I think we're going to.
That was my Kirby voice right there. I don't know if you guys could tell when I said I think.
Today, I think.
Yeah, that's my Kirby voice. I just naturally, with it, that wasn't planned either. I just naturally used my Kirby voice there, which I love.
We're going to some waterfall. It's like an hour away from here, like an hour drive away from here. I don't know what the name of the place is, but it's a bit of a hike as well. So, gonna head out there. Gonna be with like, I don't know how many people are gonna be with us. Going with my sister and a bunch of her friends and stuff like that. I have no idea. I think there's gonna be like 10 or 15 of us.
Google it.
Bamboo.
I'm saying we should all Google that now.
So these are all like my sister's friends and stuff like that. There was like 10 or 15 of us that went. We took like 5 cars. We drove like an hour. But the place that we went to, it's trespassing. It's not like a public park or whatever, or trail. It's completely private land. So you have to literally just park on the side. It's on the road to Hana. So what you have to do is you have to park on the side of the road somehow. And then hope that you don't get caught by the police or whatever and get your car towed or whatever. Because you're absolutely not allowed to pull over and park on the road to Hana anywhere. They're really strict about that. But one of the really famous waterfalls and trails is on that road. So we pulled over with like 5 cars that we had. And then as we were just like, I don't know, like a block away from our cars, about to go on the trail, a big pickup truck pulled over. And then he opened his window and it was like a guy claiming to be a park ranger, but we all doubted it. After he left, we were like, yeah, that guy was definitely lying to us. He told us that that we were trespassing. He said, if you guys go onto that trail, it's trespassing and we can fine each of you for it. And then he said that there are hunters in there. He said, if they find you, they're probably going to shoot all of you in the head, so be careful. And then he told us, this part was really weird. He said, if you don't want your windshield smashed, I suggest you move your cars immediately. And then he drove off. And we were all like, what? That's what we all said that. We were like, what do you mean our windows smashed? Like, what do you mean? Like someone's gonna come and, like, the police are gonna come and they're gonna, like, smash our windows or something. Or, like, someone's gonna come and vandalize our cars or something. So yeah, after we pulled over, we were standing there just outside, right in front of the trail entrance for about 10 minutes, about 15 of us, and we were determining whether we wanted to go on that trail. In the end, we decided just to leave. We were like, yeah, maybe we should just leave. Some of the people in our group were like, I still want to do this anyways, but we ended up just deciding to leave. So then we drove a little bit more, and this part that I didn't film. We drove a little bit more to apparently the world's best banana bread, according to Gordon Ramsay. So we had really expensive banana bread, like a loaf. Ate that. It was really good, but I don't really know why it's the world's best banana bread. It tasted as good as other banana bread I've ever had. And then after that, that's the halfway point to Hana. So I think that rest area, that shop where they were selling banana bread, is called Halfway to Hana. I believe that's what that place was actually called, that stand. So we would have had to drive like another 3 hours to end up in Hana, but we were all like tired. I had jet lag because it was only like the first 2 days after arriving in Hawaii. So we just decided to turn back and we just came back home. And then we just went to the beach near our condo, like walking distance. Some people wanted to keep driving all the way to Hana and go all the way around the east side of Maui, but it would have taken another 6 hours, and then we had to drive over Lava Rock as well. And considering that we were in rental cars and they were just regular sedans, there's no way. So, yeah, luckily we turned back, otherwise it would have been another 6-hour journey.
Oh, and have your location where to go.
That's my sister. That's my sister. And then that's my brother-in-law. So these two got married. So that was their wedding that I was at, and these are all like my sister's friends and stuff like that. There's a bunch of us.
All right. Good morning. It is day 3. Was it today? The 16th, I think. I think today's the 16th. As you can tell behind me, the weather's not too good today. It's been raining, and there were like floods everywhere in this area last night. So unfortunately, today all my plans got canceled. We're supposed to go whale watching, and then maybe do some surfing related stuff.
Yeah, there was so much rain the night before I took this part of the video specifically. There was so much rain, like unbelievable amount of rain. I've never experienced so much rain in one night. And then there were floods everywhere because Hawaii's terrain, like I explained earlier, Hawaii's terrain is lava rock, right? And rock doesn't absorb water, right? So if you have that much rain, it floods everywhere, regardless of how good your sewer drain systems are. So yeah, it was nuts. So anywhere I drove, the rental car that we had would get covered in mud, which is ridiculous. Which is what I explained earlier, the reason to why I think that majority of cars, if not all cars, in Hawaii were so junk. Like absolutely junk cars. Except for all the Teslas there. Because they're electric vehicles, they're all new. All the Teslas were super nice and clean. Everything else, though, was like junk. Every car looked like it was about to fall apart. As like, when I was driving on the roads, like every car that I passed by or every car that passed me, I was like, yeah, that car's gonna fall apart in 2 days. Because all the clear coat was peeling off the cars. Like, it was missing like body parts. Or the car was like dented all over the place. The windows were like smashed. I was like, Jesus. North American people just don't care about their cars. Or just Hawaii specifically is like that just because of the natural terrain and the weather and stuff like that.
I even wore a shirt that's, you know, suitable for that, but yeah, unfortunately none of that's happening today.
Yeah, I couldn't do anything ocean related because of the weather.
Weather's not supposed to start like downpouring rain again in about an hour or so or whatever. So for now, I'm just kind of walking around my condo area, just getting a look at it. It's pretty large actually, but yeah, unfortunately nothing really happening today, so not much to film for you guys, but just a bit of an update as to what's happening. From like 3 days from now, or in about 3 days I should say, is when I'll start being able to film a little more interesting things. Well, we are in Hawaii, and this channel's all about car stuff, so let's go car spotting while we have the time. Yeah, right. Well, I'm amazed by everything here. All the super oversized vehicles, all these SUVs, which totally makes sense in Hawaii. But in reality, yeah, it's kind of funny for me to see like massive SUVs and like sports cars that I personally don't like. Like you see Camaros and Mustangs absolutely everywhere here, like every second car it feels like. But obviously, they come from this country. But the one thing I really do love seeing here that is super common here are like Jeep Wranglers and stuff. That I love seeing. That I find so cool.
Yeah, I did love that actually. There's so many Jeep Wranglers everywhere. I love that. Here in Japan, it's not uncommon to see Jeep Wranglers. It is a little bit popular. When it comes to like American automobile, I think the Jeep Wrangler is probably one of the most popular out of everything in Japan. I think so. Every once in a while I do see a Jeep Wrangler here, and I think to myself, like, how do you drive something like that in Japan? It's like, it's kind of ridiculous to drive a Jeep Wrangler in Japan, because they're so wide. Like, you can't park anywhere. You can't get into, like, parking lots and stuff. It's just too narrow. You can't. I'm not talking about the stalls themselves. Yes, that, but I'm talking about, like, driving through the parking lot as well. Like, you just can't. Like, it's so narrow. Like, the lanes are so narrow. You can't. And you can't make, in a parking lot, you can't make a right-hand turn to get into the next aisle of parking spaces just because it's just too narrow. Like, a Jeep Wrangler can't do that.
But
so whenever you see a Jeep Wrangler here in Japan, it's always driving. It's never like parking anywhere. It's always driving. So the people, I don't know where they go, but the only place they park a Jeep Wrangler is in their own parking space, wherever it is at their home. Hopefully it fits in that parking space wherever it is. It kind of has to, otherwise it's illegal. In Japan, your car has to be able to fit into a parking space, otherwise you get in trouble by the police.
yeah, it's so funny to me to see like a bunch of massive vans, trucks, and all that kind of stuff. Because yeah, you'll never see that in Japan.
Incorrect. You do see that in Japan, except huge vans here, like the Toyota Hiace, the Toyota Alphard, the what else is there? Nissan Elgrand, stuff like that. They're all massive vans, like huge vans. The only thing is they're narrow. Every car here in Japan is so narrow. That's what it is.
You'll never come across that in Japan.
American cars are so wide. They're spacious. Japanese cars are very narrow and tall.
But yeah, I have seen a couple of JDM cars, which to me is kind of crazy to think of when it comes to owning something like that in Hawaii. Because if I'm being really honest, I'm being super honest with you guys, every car here is trash. I will tell you that for sure.
Yeah,
Trash to the point,
it's true.
to this
And
car.
then
I kind of
these two, so the Subaru, this is a Legacy, I forget what these are called. And then, surprisingly, this car, the Civic Si, I think it is, it's a pretty small car. If you compare it to this, it's pretty small, actually. It's like a good 30% smaller. I don't think I've ever seen a Civic Si in Japan, here in Japan. I don't think I've ever seen one. I don't know if it exists here. But yeah, this one that I saw in Hawaii, I believe was the very first one I ever saw in my life. It was really cool, actually. I was like, damn, that's a good looking car. Yeah, but this one was on stance. I didn't get a good look at what the rims were or whatever. But then I explained
imagine how much he paid to do that.
yeah, how much it pays. Because everything when it comes to like parts, well, anything, even like groceries and stuff like that, everything in Hawaii is imported, right? So I can't imagine how much the owner of this car paid for shipping costs to bring all the parts and all the rims and everything. So I highly doubt he bought any of it in Hawaii. I highly doubt. Especially because I was in Maui and there's nothing in Maui. Maui's just super simple. There's nothing in Maui. So finding a car parts store, anything, even like a dealership. I didn't see a single dealership in Maui. Like all those parts, I'm pretty sure he shipped them from either mainland US, which I'm not sure how much shipping would cost for that. I don't think it'd be free. I don't know. Or if he was literally willing to go the full mile, he brought all of those parts from Japan, which I can't imagine how much he cost him for shipping.
That I don't. Is that a? What is that? Oh, is that a Civic Si?
How do JDM people in Hawaii do anything? Like Maui's such a tiny island, even Oahu as well, but like there's nothing in Maui related to automotive related stuff. It's like what do you do? Like this person that owns this, like does he have any other friends in Maui that are also JDM people that also drive a JDM car like that? Like, are there car shows in Maui? Are there like is there a racetrack in Maui? Like what do you do? And you can't really drive that far to go anywhere. How do you enjoy driving that? I'm not saying that because the car's on stance and I don't like stance cars. I'm saying like you at most drive 15 minutes and then you're at the ocean. So like how do you enjoy driving that car when you can't drive for an extensive amount of time? Like I don't understand JDM culture in Hawaii. Like how does that work? That's what I wonder. Like how do you become like a JDM person in Hawaii? How do you do that? I've always wondered that.
One of those actually.
Like what's the process to becoming like this in Hawaii? And I can't imagine how strict the law is as well for a modified car. Like how strict the police are.
It's pretty cool. It's on stance.
That's why to me it's so weird.
People that own something like this in Hawaii, what do you do?
Yeah.
Like you can't really go anywhere.
Yeah.
I mean, in general, obviously you can't really go anywhere if you have a stance car. Like it's impossible to drive them.
Oh, I saw the rims there. They look like VSKFs. No, they're not. I don't know what those are. I can't tell. They're deep dish though. God, I can't imagine how much he paid for those. Not just to buy the rims themselves, but to ship them over to him. Jesus.
I mean, in general, obviously you can't really go anywhere if you have a stance car. Like it's impossible to drive those kind of things. But I'm talking like specifically Hawaii. Like what do you do? Like I highly doubt there are any tracks or car shows, events, like anything like that. So like what do those people do here? That's what I wonder. Especially in Maui,
Hello,
'cause
hello.
I feel like Maui's even less than all the other
hello.
islands
What's
in
up?
Hawaii. So I'm very curious
What's
to
up, chat?
what life is like for someone that's into JDM culture here in Maui.
Yeah.
I'd be very curious. if I could ever find the answer to that.
What, like, seriously, what do people in Hawaii do that are into JDM culture? Like, what? Like, you could be at your own house and work on your car, and then that's it. That's it. What happens after that? Nothing. Like, there's nothing to continue that trend after. I highly doubt there's a single racetrack in Hawaii. I highly doubt there are car shows. Maybe in Oahu there could be. I think I've heard of a couple actually. But like in Maui, like what happens JDM related? Like that was probably the only actual JDM car in all of Maui that we saw. That was probably the only one, honestly. Like that's just that's the whole JDM culture, that single Civic Si that was on stance. That's JDM culture in Hawaii for you. That one single car right there.
The one thing that really reminds me of home, I'm talking like home, so not my...
Yeah, when I was walking on this street, because I had free time because all my plans got canceled. When I was walking on the street, I actually felt kind of like, not homesick. I felt kind of like sad. I was like, oh, I'm definitely missing something in my life. And then I explained it here.
Like current home in Japan. I'm talking like where I'm actually originally from in Canada. This really reminds me of just being back at home in Canada. The reason because there are cars parking on the side of the road, which you obviously can't do in Japan.
Yeah, you absolutely cannot do that in Japan. If you park on the side of the road in Japan, you'll either get a ticket from the ticket people, because they do walk around the city. They wear like these green uniforms, and there's always two of them walking. You'll get a ticket within like the first 15 minutes. And then if you don't come back within like the next 10 minutes after that, they'll tow your car. And then another reason why you can't park on the side of the road is you'll block traffic. Every road in Japan is just so narrow. You can't like pull over. You can't. You'll block traffic and everyone will honk at you. So you physically can't. Even alleyway roads are like main roads in Japan. So you just can't pull over on the side of the road. Or like to park. That's just physically impossible in Japan. So when I saw that in Hawaii, that cars can just naturally park like that without having to pay or anything like that, that really reminded me of like North America. I was like, oh yeah, you can do that in North America. You definitely can't do that in Japan.
And massive pickup trucks, and the biggest one of all, there's no people.
Yeah, there's no people when you're walking. That was another thing that I loved. It's just so relaxed. I can just walk on the road and there's nobody. It felt like a ghost town.
On a full-size sidewalk.
Yep, full-size sidewalk. You won't really find that in Japan. Some places, main roads, yeah, but most places they'll either be really narrow sidewalks or no sidewalks at all.
Yeah, you don't find any of that stuff in Japan. So this kind of reminds me of home. So it's kind of relaxing just to take a walk around. There's no people around. It's super relaxing, super calm, super open. You know, you definitely don't get that in Japan. So this is nice. And yeah, definitely a lot of Teslas everywhere here.
Yeah, that's one thing I was very surprised of. So when I moved to Japan, so just over 5 years ago, Tesla was like not really a thing. I mean, yeah, it was a thing, but like not many people had them. People back then, 5.5 years ago, still considered Tesla to be like luxury vehicles. So only like really rich people had Teslas. Nowadays, it's like, oh, if you want a Tesla, just go buy one. You know, it's like that, right? So this was the first time, because I haven't left Japan since I moved here. This was the first time that I actually saw like a mass amount of Teslas. And I was really surprised to see how many Teslas there were in Hawaii. Because I honestly find it kind of strange that people in Hawaii are interested in electric vehicles, which I find so strange. I would think it would be like pickup trucks, you know, lifted trucks with massive tires on them, you know, with like surfboards on top of them, you know, stuff like that, right? Or like SUVs and stuff to drive on the beaches and stuff. But then I was seeing way more Teslas than I was expecting, and that kind of surprised me. I really thought Tesla would be purely like a mainland kind of thing, mainland US or mainland Canada, stuff like that. But in Hawaii, I saw a lot. So that really surprised me.
Here, which I guess is cool. I'm not really sure. In Hawaii, though, really? There are people here that want electric vehicles? Really? I guess so. I thought that'd be more of a mainland kind of thing, but surprisingly seeing a lot of Teslas here.
One thing that's interesting about electric vehicles in Hawaii, they get like their own license plates. So it says electric vehicle on the left of the license plate, which I thought was interesting. Japan doesn't do that. If you have an electric vehicle, you just get the same license plate as any other car. But in Hawaii, they specifically identify you as electric vehicle on the license plate.
I was not expecting that.
Hachiroku. Hey, is that a... What the... Oh, there's an Integra right there. I never noticed that. I noticed a Hachiroku because this was the first Hachiroku that I found in Hawaii. When I got there. So I immediately caught my eye. I was like, whoa, Hachiroku in Hawaii. I was like, that was so weird. I'm like, that's so unusual to see something like this in Hawaii. I didn't even know there's an Integra here. Definitely USDM though. Because the headlights. And then... I think... That's Suzuki Samurai? It's not a Jimny. It could be a Pajero Mini. Maybe? A Mitsubishi Pajero Mini, maybe? I don't know what that is. I did not notice that Integra, though. It's a 4-door, though. Wow.
At a Target store now. Because we...
And a lot of Hyundais and Kias. I completely forgot Kia was a thing. When I went to Hawaii, I noticed Kia, and I was like, damn, Kia changed. I completely forgot about it ever since I moved to Japan 5.5 years ago. And then now seeing it, because they changed their logo and their design of their cars, they look more futuristic now. I was like, damn, I completely forgot about Kia. I was like, they changed a lot. Hyundai still looks the same, their logo, all their cars and everything. But Kia changed. Kia really changed in the 5 years. I completely forgot about that company. As Hyundai and Kia both do not exist in Japan, so...
really need to get a bunch of things from here, like shampoo and all that common stuff.
4-door Integra! How did I not notice this?
Yeah, my car. In Hawaii. That's pretty cool. But,
yeah, this Civic was really nice, actually. Really nice. Cool to see that in Hawaii. In Japan, it's just super common. Actually, you rarely see a Honda Civic in Japan. I don't know why. They're not popular here for some reason. You rarely see any Honda Civic, not just the new ones. Anything. You rarely see a Honda Civic here. Very rare.
Really. Ooh, Type R. Not bad. We're more in the local area now, so less of the rental cars and stuff like that. So we're finding more of the JDM stuff in this area. It's pretty cool. All this stuff that you cannot get in Japan.
Yeah, Head and Shoulders. Maybe Costco has all this stuff that I bought. I don't know. Head and Shoulders. Maybe Costco has it. I don't know. I'm not sure.
Especially
Pop-Tarts.
that's right.
Yep, that's right. Pop-Tarts. Pop-Tarts. Yes! This is my last one. I can't eat it. This is so unfortunate. I can't eat this. You want to know why I can't eat it? Because my workplace tomorrow, they told me I have to go get a checkup at one of the doctor's places that they're sending me to in the morning. I'm not allowed to eat after like 8 p.m. or whatever, and it's like almost 9 p.m. now. I'm not allowed. I'm not allowed to eat after like 8 p.m. anything. And then tomorrow morning, I'm not allowed to eat breakfast because I have to get a checkup and do everything like urine test and blood samples, stuff like that, all that common stuff, right? So this is my last one. I don't even know what flavor this is. It's either
I've never seen these.
the cookies and cream one that you see in the video or the blueberry ones.
Go to a Costco or something, but
I don't know which one this is because when the day before we left Hawaii, we had a few left of both boxes, so we combined it into one box. So I have no idea. Oh, maybe it says on here. No, it doesn't say. I have no idea which one this is. I'm hoping it's the blueberry ones. I have no idea, though. And unfortunately, I can't find out right now because I'm not allowed to eat. So.
definitely buying a bunch of these for sure. But unfortunately, I think all the strawberry ones are sold.
You'll take it? Sure. I mean, it's all crumbly, though. It's in my suitcase and everything, so it's like in bits, kind of. Yeah. The one thing I know is Pop-Tarts apparently are disgusting for the most part, except for the strawberry and the blueberry ones. But, yeah, you know. Yeah.
One life, I don't want to take.
You know how, like, yeah, there was one strawberries here, but you know how, like, the North, I don't know if it's still like this, but for me, it definitely was when I was living in North America a long time ago. Whereas if there was, like, one box of something left on the shelf, nobody would ever take it. because they're like, oh, somebody probably poisoned that, or it's like, ew, somebody made it all dirty. I don't want to take that, you know. I still had that feeling, so I didn't take this last box because I was like, I don't want to take the last box. Maybe someone did something to it. Do people still think like that nowadays in North America? In Japan, it doesn't matter because everything's like super good quality here, and you don't have to worry about anything here. But like in North America, I had that pet peeve or whatever, where I was like, it's the last box. I don't really want to take that, so I chose the cookies and cream one. It was okay. It didn't taste great, but the blueberry ones were spot on. Spot on. But am I the only one that has that pet peeve though? In North America? In Japan I don't have that pet peeve. Only in North America. If there's one thing left on the shelf in a grocery store or something, and I want it, but there's only one left, I'm like, I don't really want to take that. You know? Is that me? Is that just me? Has that always been a thing in North America? Or is that just me? No one ever wants the last one. So it's not just me, right? Okay, good to know. Like, what is it though? Like, what is it behind that though? It's just a pet peeve, right? Like, I always just assume that, like, maybe someone did something to it. Like, they put the box back or someone returned it or something. It's like, I don't really want that, you know? But the main reason why I didn't take that strawberry box is because it was all crushed and everything. So I was like, yeah, it doesn't look good. And in Japan, everyone's very picky about, like, product looks or whatever. So if you have, like, for example, it doesn't exist in Japan, but for example, if Pop-Tarts did exist in Japan, those boxes, if there was like a crushed box or whatever, nobody would ever take it. Or they would take it to the cashier and be like, oh, this box is crushed, and then the staff would take it to the back room and put it away or something. Like, everything has to be like perfect condition in Japan. So like, at a workplace that I used to work at, we had a section where we had like saran wrap and stuff like that. And like the corners of the box was slightly torn or like open, but there's nothing wrong with the product. And then a customer complained to me about it and was like, can I get a new one? The box is open. I'm like, really? So then I just had to walk to the shelf and grab them a new one. I was like, really? It was just like the corner was like a tiny little rip. I'm like, really? You're complaining about that? Really? You know? It's like that.
That box though, so blueberry's good. And then
But in North America, like half the things on the shelf were either like crushed or like the egg section. Like some of the eggs in the containers or whatever, those plastic cartons or whatever, some of the eggs were like cracked or destroyed and stuff like that. In Japan, you'll never see that. If you do, immediately within like 2 minutes, a customer would take it to the cashier and be like, oh, one of the eggs cracked, you know? But in North America, it's like, just shove it to the back of the shelf and let someone else deal with it, you know? And I saw a lot of that in Hawaii. Like, products were either, like, smashed or something, and just, I noticed, like, customers probably pushed it to the back of the shelf. I'm like, wow. That's what it is, right? And then the staff just doesn't care to do anything about it, or just, they don't notice it, because it's at the back of the shelf. You know, but in Japan, it's like, everything has to be perfect.
I don't know if these ones.
That's what it is.
Not, but we'll see. We'll see. Dude, what was that?
Only after COVID? Oh, really?
I've never seen.
That's
that.
true.
Dude, I miss all.
That's
those.
true, actually. COVID probably changed behaviors and stuff like that, I guess.
Any of these for so long. Actually,
Yeah,
that's
these cereals. So, Frosted Flakes is everywhere here in Japan. It's pretty much the same as what it is in North America. It is as sugary, but the quantity is definitely a lot less. There's no, like, family size pack or anything like that. All the rest of these cereals, yeah, nothing. Not a single one of these exists in Japan. None of them. Everything's like granola here in Japan when it comes to cereal. I don't like that very much.
in Japan, everywhere. Everything else, so yeah, you will not find any of this in Japan. Crazy. Maybe I'll get some. I don't know, but definitely.
I was a huge fan of mini wheats. I went into like a mini wheats phase at one point in my life when I was living in North America. And then before that, when I was little, it was Honey Nut Cheerios. Definitely. And then at one point, it was Nesquik. Or Nesquik or whatever, however you pronounce it.
Definitely so stoked about this.
And then Frosted Flakes is, if I eat cereal here in Japan, Frosted Flakes, but it's quite expensive actually. Cereal here is expensive. I don't really eat it, and for the most part, it's granola kind of cereal, and I don't really like it, so.
So for sure, without a doubt. Guys, let me know what snacks do I need to buy.
What snacks do you need to buy? You need to buy all of them. I wish I could have, but damn, groceries are expensive as heck in Hawaii. Holy. Like, I bought all the stuff that you saw that was in the cart. I paid almost $100 US for all that. So that's like 12,000 in yen maybe. So like what is it? 10,200 yen? No, 10,000 10,000. What is it? How many zeros is it? That's like that's over $100. It's nuts.
in the US.
I bought like nothing. In Japan, you could buy like 4 times as much as that for the same price.
That you can't get in Japan. What am I missing? What am I missing?
I think one of the reasons is because every time I bought something in US, I always convert it into yen, and because of the exchange rate, the Japanese yen and stuff like that compared to US is so different. So if I buy something in US, it's like almost double the cost in yen.
Corn, maybe. Got the Pop Tarts. What else do I need? What else? What else? What else? I'll keep looking around. Definitely trying to look for all the stuff that I forgot that I used to get back before I moved to Japan. So I need to get all that stuff.
I went to the spam aisle.
This
It was, what is that, $1.79 for the regular without membership card or whatever the heck it was. Yeah, that's expensive. That's like $2.50 if it was in yen. Like 250 yen. That's very expensive.
exists everywhere in Japan. Actually, it's not hard to find it. It's absolutely everywhere in Japan. But
Yeah, Japan. This is absolutely everywhere in Japan. It is.
yeah, I'm good. I'm good. Let's find something else. Dude, these were so
Nature Valley. I wish
much
that
better than
existed
having
in
this one.
Japan. Ah, they're so good. The peanut butter ones.
best snacks ever.
Ah, I miss those so much.
Followed by, where is it? I just saw it. Nutrigrain.
Nutrigrain too. Ah, I miss those snacks so much.
Nostalgia.
Ah, they don't exist in Japan.
Dude, so much nostalgia. I want to buy like all of this, but yeah, everything here is really freaking expensive. So
Yeah, so
I'm
expensive.
gonna limit myself, but we'll find something. Cliff bars. Oh my god.
Rice Krispies. I think this probably exists in Japan. I think Costco has it, possibly. I could imagine Costco would have it.
I'm gonna limit myself. Maybe not. But dude, I miss all
Unfortunately, though, the nearest Costco to me is over an hour drive away, so...
this stuff. Can't get any of this stuff in Japan. So much nostalgia. I want like one of
Yo, one thing, I think is probably cringe is, can you see it?
I want like one of everything.
That box right there, I know it's blurry. That box right there, how it's tipped over. I bet a lot of you would complain to me in the comment section and be like, why didn't you tip that box back over so that it's upright again? You know, it irritated me that you didn't do that, you know?
Thing from here. We'll see. We'll see.
Cookies and cream yogurt. Yeah, every time we go to Hawaii, I always buy this yogurt. This one. Always. Every time I go to Hawaii. I buy all the flavors. There's so many flavors, like the key lime pie, strawberry, cookies and cream. I love this yogurt. So good. I wish this exists in Japan. It doesn't, though. This would be really successful in Japan if it existed. Unfortunately, it doesn't. I really wish it did, though. For breakfast. And then bagels. Of course, I'm eating bagels because in Japan, you can get bagels, but they're very, like, fancy, I guess. They're not, like, typical North American plain bagels. I don't know how to explain it. But also, you can only get them in single packs, in, like, a bag. And you're paying, like, 150 yen for a single bagel, which is very expensive. That's, like, almost $2 US-ish, roughly. So, yeah, when I was in Hawaii, I bought batches of bagels, but they were very expensive. Like, a batch of, like, 6 bagels in those bags, I paid almost $10 for it, which is ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. That's almost 1,500 yen. Absolutely ridiculous. But I was in Hawaii. I wanted to have the nostalgic food that I haven't had for almost 6 years now, so... I think I did well. I did well. Yeah, this beach was, like, right in front of my condo that we were staying at. Americans will travel 4 hours for dinner. Really? Did people do that? Really? The one thing that was really disappointing, the tip system. You have to tip everybody in the US. I couldn't believe it. And like people were like asking for a tip too. In Japan, that's unheard of. I'm not talking about like tips exist. I'm talking like people asking for something like that. Like in Japan, that would be like the most impolite slash rudest thing you could ever do, to ask for something like that. But the tip system doesn't exist in Japan, which is awesome. So you go to a restaurant, you go to get a haircut, you take a taxi, what else? Stuff like that, right? In Japan, no tip. So you're just paying the bill. That's it. But in the US, anything that involves you interacting with someone else, you have to give them money. And I'm just like, why? You know, anything. So like I went to a fast food joint in a mall, and there was like a tray in front, right in front of the cash register, right in front of your eyes, like in the most obvious spot, and it says, please give us a tip. And everyone in front of me in line was giving a tip. I was like, okay, so I kind of have to do it too, I guess. Otherwise, everyone will stare at me. Just like in Japan, everyone stares at you if you don't wear a mask. But in the US, it's all about tips. And I'm like, really? Like, people, like, nowadays, it's more and more a tip like. It wasn't like that when I was living in North America. I mean, yeah, the tip system exists, obviously, but it wasn't that bad. Like, now it's like, everyone's, like, asking for it now. I'm like, Jesus. And then, whenever I used a card to pay for something, the machine would ask for your PIN number and everything. And then it would say, would you like to give a tip? And then there was no option to say no. There was only give, I don't know what it was, 10%, 18%, 25%. And I was like, what? I was like, really? I was like, you're forced to give a tip? I was like, really? So I always chose the lowest percentage. I was like, that's ridiculous. I was like, really? North America's become like that? Jesus. And people say, oh, North America's minimum wage is so low. I'm like, you guys have the tip system though. Japan doesn't have that. Don't tips pay for a lot of your salary? Especially if you're like begging for it, and like you get a lot of customers, every customer giving you a tip. Like, don't you make a lot of money per day? No? Am I wrong? Like, do people give like 5 cents as a tip or something in North America? Is that what it is? Like, what's going on? What is going on with the tip system in North America? Jeez. And then restaurants where you leave the money at the table. In Japan, you don't do that. You do not do that in Japan. In Japan, you get your bill, you get the receipt, and then you go up to the register at the front of the restaurant, and then you pay it at the cashier. But I completely forgot that in North America, you leave the money on the table where you ate with the bill, and then you put the tip in it as well. I was like mind blown. I was like, God damn, North America. I forgot about all of this. That also includes inconvenience, like I mentioned an hour ago. Inconvenience of North America. That also falls underneath that. Japan's so convenient when it comes to everything, even the smallest little things. But you get so used to it that you forget that Japan's like that. And then until you go back to North America, you're like, oh, damn, I forgot. North America is so inconvenient. Yeah, this was the wedding. My sister's wedding. The venue. I forget what this place was called. It was beautiful. And this was 1 day after the huge storm that happened for 3 days. So the water, you can't really tell in the video, but the water was like brown because it was all murky with all the mud and everything. But we were so lucky that the next day on this wedding, it was beautiful. Otherwise, the wedding, it still would have happened, but it would have happened inside of that building rather than outside on the grass. So it's funny, wedding venue here, I don't know how often they get weddings. And then there's like a condo or apartment or whatever next door. I can't imagine how irritated the people living here must have been. Like, can you imagine if there was a wedding every single night with all the loud music and everything happening? I mean, you either really enjoy weddings in your life, or you're like an elderly person that like has noise complaints every single day of your life. You know? You only fall on one of those two sides of the table. You're not in the middle. You can't be in the middle when it comes to this situation. You're on one or the other. Like, completely. Yeah, and then we brought, well, not these ones specifically. We brought Japanese Shinsu. I think Shinsu? I don't know how to pronounce it. So those paper fans for all the people. Because, like, 90% of the people that were at the wedding were from Canada and have no Japanese background in their life. So my Japanese family, we brought Shinsu for everyone, which is cool. So they got to experience Japanese culture. And then my cousins wore yukata, so like the summer version of kimono, to the wedding. And everyone there was like, whoa, taking photos and stuff like that. Because they've probably never seen a kimono in their life because they're all from Canada and stuff like that. So nobody knows anything about Japan that was at the wedding. So it was really cool. Yeah, that was my Hawaiian shirt. I paid almost $100 for it. I bought it here in Japan, actually. It was really cool, though. I don't, oh, I don't have it with me right now. I don't know where it is. I would show it to you guys, but it's really cool. But very expensive. It was worth it, though. That's my dad. Whenever I do like IRL kind of videos, if you see like a foreigner in the background, that's usually my dad. Okay, we can skip this. So I had to mute the video, the actual sound, because copyrighted music in the dance room, so we can skip this. Yeah, this was the inside, stuff like that. Whale watching. I didn't film like anything of this. The video that I have, aside from this clip right here, the next clip, I actually got from someone else because I didn't have my phone on me, because which you'll hear in this clip right here. The guy said that there's a dry hatch to keep all our stuff from getting wet. Because I didn't know what to expect on this boat. It was a tiny little boat. There was like almost 30 of us on it. And then we had to go through the waves as well. So I was like, I don't want my wallet and my phone to get wet. Because we were going at very high speeds, regardless of how big the waves were, you would not get wet just because of the speed that we were going at. So the water would just pass you. Kind of like when you drive on the freeway in a convertible, you will not get wet. Even if your roof is completely open, you won't get wet just because physics doesn't allow that, because the water just goes right over you. It's the same with a boat. So yeah, I had my my phone and my wallet inside the dry hatch they had, so I couldn't take any videos, so I had to get them from other people. But unfortunately, I didn't have any footage of when the boat was actually going full speed. So this is my brother-in-law, and then a bunch of his friends and stuff like that. God, everyone, I swear to God, North American people, American and Canadian people are so freaking tall. I completely forgot about that. So I haven't been to North America in 5.5 years. God. Is here in Japan, I'm considered tall, even though I'm only like 5'5". Yeah. Yeah, I'm pretty tall, actually. But when I was amongst all these people, everyone's like well over 6 feet. I was like, holy Jesus, you guys are tall. But that's normal. That's normal in North America. Diets are different.
About a cup of water that's on top of their blowhole. When they exhale, they're blowing out at about 2,000 psi or 200 miles an hour. The average human sneeze is about 115 miles an hour, unless you're my Uncle Joe. It's like 120. And it's shooting it up 15 feet in the air. Now the Hawaiians believe that if that spout gets misted onto you, you get blessed with the gift of fertility.
Oh shit.
Allie, other side of the boat.
Fuck. Awesome, I recorded that.
So yeah, this was the clip. I got it from one of my sister's friend, actually. Yeah, so there was we saw a lot of whale actually, and I don't know if they were lying to us just to make us feel better or something. The two staff that was with us on the boat told us that they've never experienced this in their life either. The entire time that they've been working for this company. There was a whale at one point when we stopped to see these whales in the middle of the water. My brother-in-law noticed a whale right underneath us. It was just chilling underneath us. It wasn't moving. It wasn't dead. It was just like resting. And then he noticed it, and the staff told us they said they've never seen that in their life. So I don't know if they were lying just to make us feel good or something. They're like, but one of the lady that was on the boat, she had I don't know what it was, not a GoPro, I guess her own phone, and she attached it to like not a harpoon, like a rope or something, and she put it under the water to take a video of the whale. Unfortunately, I don't have footage of that because we were never able to get it from her. But yeah, and then our boat was just chilling on top of the whale, literally for like 15 minutes, and we were all just staring at the tail. We could only see the back end of the whale, but we couldn't move the boat because of the what is it called, the engines or whatever, the propellers. It was like the whale was literally like just a meter below us, so, and we couldn't believe it, and it was pretty massive as well. So we were literally just chilling on top of her for like 15 minutes until it finally decided to move. And then our boat was able to move to another location. It was unbelievable though. Unfortunately though, I don't have footage of it. And any photos that you tried to take, because of the reflection of the water and the sun and everything, you couldn't see it in photos. So only in person you could, but it was unbelievable. It was literally a whale, literally less than a meter below us, just chilling there underneath a boat. Let's go short gang. Yeah, short gang. If you're 100, I think the sweet spot in Japan is 168 centimeters. That's what girls like. And then for a guy, or like vice versa, I don't know what it is actually, but girls in Japan, 168 centimeters for a guy is their sweet spot. I don't know why. That's just like the right height for some reason, which is roughly what, 5'5", 5'6" or something. I don't know. In North America now, it's like, I'm 6'3". Oh, cool, man. And I'm just like, you're 6'3"? Holy, nice to meet you. I'm yeah, not as tall as you are. But yeah, I couldn't believe it. Everybody that was at the wedding, I couldn't believe how tall everyone was. But I thought to myself, and I was like, that's normal in North America. Just, I've been away from North America for so long that when I'm surrounded by Japanese people here, I'm like, oh, I feel like I'm tall. I feel like I'm normal height. But in North America, I honestly, I felt like a toddler. I was like, holy, everybody's so tall. Everybody's really big boned as well. Just because diets are different, right? Japanese food is just way more healthier. It makes you skinnier. Stuff like that. Everyone eats a lot of rice, a lot of carbs. But North America is more like greasy food, right? So you gain more weight and stuff like that. Honolulu! I want to enjoy that more. This was the most unreal view of my life. Unfortunately, the weather was bad. The entire time I was in Hawaii, the weather was bad for the most part, except for the wedding day, which was amazing. Yeah, this was Waikiki Beach. So I guess if you've been to Oahu, then you'll definitely know that beach. It's like the only beach in the whole touristy area of Oahu. I stayed in the Hyatt. I forget what the second half of the name was. If you look it up, you'll know what it is. The Hyatt Resort. Something. I don't remember what it was called. God, the height was nerve-wracking. So, in this apartment that I'm currently living in, I'm over 10 floors high. That building that we stayed at in Honolulu was 37 floors high, so double of this. And I'm scared living here, mainly because obviously earthquakes and stuff like that. But yeah, just looking down from here, I kind of get, you know how like some people have fear of heights, and you get like chills when you look down. I get that, and then I kind of get dizzy until I grab onto something. Yeah, the 37 floors. Thank God the view was really nice, like absolutely beautiful view, with nothing in the horizon, so I couldn't tell how high it was unless I looked straight down, you know. So luckily, that kind of saved me. Yeah, that view saved me from passing out or becoming so dizzy from being scared of height. So, we've arrived, Honolulu. 37 floors high.
Yeah.
And, yeah. It's like I stuttered when I said 37 because I got so scared. 37 floors high. You can sense the fear in my voice. And yeah, I thought my apartment in Japan was terrifying. Yeah, so all these specs, those are all people. That's a lot of people. And they were all surfing, but none of them were moving though. They're not dead. No, they weren't utilizing the waves for some reason. Now, I had been surfing once in my life, the last time I was in Hawaii, or the 2 times ago, I guess. And the one thing I remember my instructor told me is, do not ride every single wave. He said only ride the wave that you feel is going to carry you and allow you to come with one with the wave or whatever you want to call it. And then another thing I know, and this is physics related, I don't know what the physics behind it is, but every 7th wave, I think it is bigger than every other wave. I think, if my science is correct on that, that's what I know. But yeah, like barely anybody was actually surfing. They were just like chilling in the water on their surfboards, which is kind of weird, I guess. I don't know. This is even more terrifying. I'm more than double the height compared to my apartment. Yeah, the Hyatt Regency. Yeah, okay, you know what it is. I guess, yeah, it's common, I guess. I mean, it's right in the middle of Waikiki Beach, so yeah. Hyatt Regency, that's where I stayed, yeah. The two buildings. So you have the Diamond Head Tower, and then I forget what that other tower is called. That's the one I stayed in. And then the view. Yeah, the Hyatt Regency, that's where I was. Japan. This is unbelievable. I think this is Waikiki Beach. I think. I'm not 100% sure, actually. Oh, I was so terrified of the height. We're staying here for 2 nights, and then we're going to be heading home back to Japan. For now. Yeah, unfortunately, I didn't get in the water once when I was in Hawaii. I didn't go in the ocean once. Not once. This time I didn't. Every other time I went to Hawaii in my life, all the other 6 times, I immediately, the first thing was, first thing in the morning, let's go in the ocean, let's go snorkeling. I want to go surfing. I want to go see sea turtles. This time was different. Like, my behavior was so different in Hawaii this time. Not like my previous trips. This is unbelievable. Maybe I'm aging. Yeah. I'm becoming more of an adult. Because all the other times I've been to Hawaii, I was like teenager or child. I wanted to do all the fun activities, you know? But this time it's like, I'm an adult. I'm a mature adult. Okay, let the kids play in the water. And let me just sit on the beach and, you know, enjoy my my Oreo cookies, my Pop-Tarts, and just enjoy and relax, you know? That's what it was this time. Yeah, so we were in Maui for 5 days, I believe it was, and now we're here in Honolulu, and honestly, it is so different. The people here, the buildings, I don't know if you can see, literally skyscraper land. It feels like I'm back in Japan. Yeah, Honolulu and Maui are so different. They feel like different countries. Maui, everything is very simplistic in Maui. Like, they don't need advanced technology, advanced buildings, or anything like that. Nothing. Like, you don't need it in Maui. But Honolulu, it's like, okay, we need tourists, we need commercializing, we need skyscrapers, we need a city, we need freeways, we need, you know, all that kind of stuff. Maui has none of that. Nothing. There wasn't a single skyscraper in Maui. There's no like tourism stuff. There's no like tourist scam, you know, like, oh, take this day trip on this tour to this volcano or whatever. We're gonna charge you $200 for it. It's a scam, you know, stuff like that. In Honolulu, there's a lot of that you have to watch out for. There's nothing like that in Maui. You don't find people doing that kind of stuff, advertising things like that. Maui's not like that. Maui is like a country on its own, if you compare it to Oahu. Just
more ocean, even more ocean.
And then Oahu's where all the Japanese people are. In Maui, I don't think I saw a single Asian person in Maui. I don't think so. Aside from myself and my own family. That's it. But Oahu, it's like Japanese people only know of Oahu because planes from Japan, they only fly to Oahu in Hawaii. So Japanese people assume that, oh, we're in Oahu, let's just stay here, you know? And they don't think about the other islands because then they'd have to take another plane to get those other islands. They don't take the extra step, you know what I mean? So they just stay in Oahu. So, like, I swear to God, like, 90% of the people that actually, like, live in Oahu, like, staff people, people working in stores like that, they all speak fluent Japanese, everyone. Even people that look like they're from the mainland US. It's like, oh, you do not look like you have Japanese in your blood. You look completely North American. And then they're like, yeah, I can speak fluent Japanese. Yep.
In Japan.
Not like that in Maui. Not a single person in Maui would even know a single word in Japanese. But in Maui, when you go to like grocery stores and stuff like that, their second language is Japanese though. So English, and then underneath it, stuff would be written in Japanese. Kind of like in Canada, there's French and English. And then I guess maybe the US as well, French and English a little bit in some states. It's like that. But in Hawaii, Oahu specifically, is English Japanese, which I thought was interesting. I knew that already, but from my past trips to Hawaii, but this time was like I really noticed it this time.
Which is absolutely crazy. But yeah, I swear to God, everybody here.
Yeah, don't enter the
not just, like,
water.
staff,
I couldn't enter the water. No water entry. Unfortunately, I couldn't see sea turtles from here. There's too many people.
people in the building and stuff like that. Everyone's like fluent in Japanese here. It's crazy. People are different. Way more tourists. Way more Japanese people here. Everything is just a lot more commercial, I guess. A lot more skyscrapers. Maui didn't have a single skyscraper. Everything's very, very simplistic in Maui. Very, very simplistic. Like here, everything is so touristy, super commercial. It's just crazy how different it is. I really feel like I'm in a different country right now compared to Maui. Like it's absolutely.
Luckily, when we were here, so the last 2 days of my trip, the water was very like clean and nice. But in Maui, because of the storms that happened, the water was like all murky and brown from all the mud and everything. So it either cleared up after the 5 days later, when we went to Oahu, or Oahu just didn't get that much rain, so the water didn't end up getting all murky or something.
Absolutely crazy. But we're here. I'm gonna be here for 2 days, and then yeah, we'll see what I can do. I don't have anything planned, so I'm probably just gonna walk around. You know, the building that we're staying in is like the first, second, and third floor is like a huge mall. Like this building is massive, so yeah, I'm probably gonna be able to spend most of my time just in this building that I'm in right now. So that's gonna be crazy. We'll see what I can do, but this is amazing. I wonder if we can see any sea turtles. Probably not, because there's so many people in the water and so many boats nearby. I don't think they'd come too close to the shoreline. But I can't get over this. This is amazing, but so different compared to Maui. Yeah, once our 2 days are over here, I'll give you guys my opinions.
Spanish, that's right. If you go to like what is it called, New Mexico maybe? Yeah, Spanish, I guess so. Isn't there somewhere on the eastern side of the US that's French? What is it called? Maryland or whatever? What's that state called, or city or whatever? Somewhere? Is it like near Nashville or something like that? Or somewhere. There is a state that's French, isn't there? Something?
On what I thought about both of the islands. I'll tell you guys which one I prefer. And I'll tell you, I already do have an answer. So you guys will just have to wait till later. This is amazing.
Yeah, so my building, like, it was nuts. Like, massive building. Like, the first 3 floors was literally like a giant village just within the building. Or, like, within the land, which is crazy. A bunch of stores. It felt like a mall in a village inside of my building. If any of you go to Honolulu and stay at the Hyatt Regency, yeah, go to where I was walking there, and then you'll feel, hey, I'm walking where Frost was. Go walk on that staircase.
This is literally still in my building. Like, this is absolutely crazy. So I'm somewhere up there. Dude, this is nuts. It's like a whole village just within my building.
Yeah, and then like this massive candy store. But it was like, it was really like empty. I don't know how to explain it. Like, how do I explain it? Like, it was a gigantic candy store, but there was like nothing in that store. I don't know how to explain it any better than that. I thought it was weird. I was like, yep. Yeah, that's how you get rotten teeth. That's how the dentist will say, an apple a day keeps the doctor away. Oh wait, no, the dentist doesn't say that, do they? Who says that? The doctor themselves? Well, you know what I mean. Yeah, unheard of in Japan to find something like this. The sugary stuff.
Apparently, because I flew with a Japanese airline, there's like a lounge or something that I can get in for free. I have to find it though.
Yeah, there's it's called ANA Lounge. So All Nippon Airways, the airlines. Yeah, because I flew business class, so I got to get into that for free. So there's like buffets for free and drinks and everything like that while you're waiting for your plane and stuff like that. And then I found out that in Hawaii, near the hotel we were staying at, there was actually a lounge, which I thought was weird. I was like, why would that not be at the airport? It was like a 5-minute walk down from where we were staying. We went to it, but unfortunately there was a big like lounge area where you could sit down, couches and everything. But there was only like juice, like soda cans of juice. That's all it was. There wasn't a buffet or anything. But because Oahu, there's so many Japanese people, it makes sense to have a ANA lounge there. A lot of Japanese people are actually in and utilizing it and everything. Which I thought it was strange that it wasn't at the airport though, like it should be. But considering it was Oahu and a huge population of Japanese people are there, so it made sense.
There's like a buffet that I also get free food, so I'm gonna try and find that later.
Yeah, so I was with my uncle, and we found my uncle and my dad, so the three of us. And then we walked to the lounge. We wanted food because we were starving. We didn't want to go to a restaurant because like the tip system and food is expensive in the US and stuff like that. And then conversion to Japanese yen and stuff like that. So we were like, oh, let's go to... My mom was like, oh, you guys should go to the lounge. There is one nearby. And then my uncle was like, hey, that's a good idea because we can get in for free. We get a buffet and stuff like that. We went there and there was nothing but like tiny little soda, like Japanese sized soda cans of like apple juice and orange juice, and that's it. So that was our lunch. And my uncle was like, this is our lunch. I'm like, really? He's like, yep.
This is crazy.
He's like, do you have a better idea? I'm like, we can pay the tip system and go have lunch at a restaurant. And then we ended up having, what is it called? Hawaiian poke or whatever it's called? I don't know how to pronounce it. Which is literally just like sashimi and rice, so. It was good though. Very good. Yeah, good stream. Thank you, thank you. Yeah, we're going through my Hawaii video because I was in Hawaii 2 weeks ago. I left. I told the story of everything that happened. This whole month has been literally a roller coaster for me. So for those of you that are just joining the stream or have no idea who I am or don't know what happened, so I went to Hawaii for a wedding and stuff like that. And then I filmed this video and stuff. And then the day after I got back, which was 6 days ago from today, I ended up in the hospital due to overexhaustion, nausea, jet lag, and then something else as well. Loss of appetite, stuff like that. All of that all at once. And then I collapsed on the ground after work because the day that I got back from Hawaii, we arrived at like 9 p.m. and the next morning at 6 a.m. I had to wake up and go to work. So exhaustion, I ended up collapsing to the ground. I came home early from work. As soon as I got out of my car, I couldn't feel my arms and legs at all. They went completely numb, and I had like that weird tingly feeling. You know, like when you sit uncomfortably for a long time, and all of a sudden you move, and your legs and arms or whatever get all like tingly and numb. I had that, and then I collapsed to the ground, and then I had to like phone my parents and stuff like that and tell them to call an ambulance because I couldn't do it myself because I had no strength in my arm to even lift my phone. My phone was sitting on the ground next to my head when I was laying there, and I was calling my mom. I'm like, can you come here? Can you please call an ambulance? I can't move. My parents were like freaking out. My dad thought I had a heart attack. I thought I had a stroke, but then I realized my brain was perfectly fine, so it wasn't a stroke. And then my heart was okay. Like, I didn't feel like my heart rate was going up at all, but I was really out of breath. Like, I was breathing so heavy. I just couldn't catch my breath. So it was just overexhaustion. ABC store. There was, the amount of ABC stores in Hawaii. I laughed at this when I was in Hawaii, but then I realized there's no reason to laugh at it. Because in Japan, we have a mass amount of convenience stores on every block. Like, just down the road from where I'm living here, there's at least 4 convenience stores. Literally. So, in Hawaii, they have ABC stores everywhere. And I started laughing because within the Hyatt Regency, there's 3 ABC stores. 1 on each of the first 3 floors. I started laughing at that. I was like, wow, that's kind of funny. But then I realized, I'm like, oh, well, there are convenience stores everywhere here in Japan. So why am I laughing at that? So, yeah. ABC stores of Hawaii is like convenience stores here in Japan, so. Yeah, I'm okay now. I'm perfectly fine now. Yeah, yesterday, around lunchtime yesterday, was the first, like, full-size meal that I was able to eat without problems. I got my appetite back and I was able to eat without feeling like uncomfortable in my stomach or feeling like throwing up or anything like that. No nausea. So yeah, I'm okay. That whole sequence, from the moment I collapsed on the ground to up till yesterday morning, all of that in between was when I was like really in bad shape. But ever since around yesterday early afternoons, I felt perfectly fine. So eating that full-size lunch that I had yesterday put all the energy back in my body, and now I feel perfectly fine. So I'm doing okay. I'm choosing to drink a lot more water though, because the hospital told me to do that as well. I'm trying to prevent dehydrating myself, so that's definitely helping as well. But yeah, for the past like 6 days, I've been on 4 different medications, so my brain's like very woozy, I guess you could say. I'm over it now, though. All the medication's done. I'm feeling better. We're back to normal. Everything's good. Diamond Head. Here's the thing. This part, which you're about to see. When I was ending the video, or when I uploaded this, and then after, I kind of like watched over the video once, I realized I forgot to put all the footage of Diamond Head into this video. So there's like nothing. There's only like 2 clips. I filmed so much more, and I forgot to put all of it into the video. So. That's, I believe, that's my uncle. Obviously, you can't really see, but I think that's my uncle. That's my uncle.
I think we're heading right up there. So it's a bit of a hike. I think it's supposed to take like
Yeah, that's my uncle.
so to get all the way up there. We'll see how long it takes.
So I put this clip in, and then I think that was it. This is only like 10% up Diamond Head. I forgot to put all the rest of the footage in the video. Unfortunately. I think there's one more actually. One more clip after this. This isn't even the halfway point.
I think it was the first time I met you too. No, I met you at Andy's house.
Yeah.
Today's my last day.
It just skips.
It's time to start packing. Go back home to Japan. The trip was great. It was really awesome. But I didn't get to film too much. I know most of it was just talking for you guys, but because I was with like 50 to 60 other people most of the time. And halfway through our trip for 3 days, I believe it was a big storm here. So couldn't go in the water because of that. They said the current was too dangerous. And just all the rain and stuff like that. I didn't really want to go outside.
Yeah, it was unfortunate. All the
and
rain.
of course, as you guys know, I was here for a wedding. That was the reason why I came to Hawaii. Right now, I'm in Honolulu. But yeah, just going to have to pack now. Leaving pretty soon. We're back in Japan, but this view is just unbelievable from here.
Honestly,
Absolutely
one of the most unbelievable views I've ever experienced in my life.
unbelievable view.
And I'm saying that, and I live over 10 floors high. I have a clear view of downtown, right outside my window here, and a clear view of Mount Fuji as well, and a huge park, open. There's no buildings like right next to my building. It's completely open, and I'm still saying that this Hyatt Regency view that we had was the most unbelievable thing I've ever seen in my life.
I'm definitely gonna miss this so much.
Even though there's way less to see from this view because it's literally just the horizon and the ocean compared to what I can see here from my apartment. Yet, still one of the most amazing things I've ever seen in my life.
So, but it's time to go back home to Japan because as soon as I get home, it's almost to the point that I might actually have to go directly from work, from the airport. By the way, there's a lot of people down there right there. It was not like that yesterday. What the heck? Huh, interesting. The waves are a lot bigger today, but there's like twice as many.
Yeah, apparently, while we were in Hawaii, there was a big storm here in Japan, and all these waves apparently came from Japan. So, a lot of the people were making jokes like, "Oh, you guys brought the waves with you from Japan in your suitcases." Apparently, a lot of people are joking like that.
Yesterday. But anyways, yeah, gotta go back.
And then the whale watching people, they were all like high-fiving us. They're like, "Yeah, you brought the waves. Thanks, man." It's like, how difficult was it to bring it in your suitcase? I'm like, haha, yeah, very funny.
And go back to work immediately. 7 days a week work. Unfortunately, yeah, this is the only time I get vacation time the whole year.
Actually, he said it more like, "Woo! Yeah, man, you brought the waves from Japan in your suitcase. Yeah!" That's how he said it, actually. The guy on the whale watching boat.
Time, so unfortunately,
he's like, "Oh, that's gnarly, man." I'm like, "What the heck?" Okay, you're welcome. I didn't do anything though. I didn't do anything though. I came to Hawaii to enjoy my trip and then attend a wedding. You're welcome.
For the rest of the year, I have nothing but work, so we'll see how it goes. But this was fun. I enjoyed it so much. Hopefully, we can be back soon. This was my my second time ever in my life in Honolulu, and I'll be honest, I definitely prefer Maui over Honolulu.
I still stand by that. I definitely prefer Maui over Honolulu. But it really depends what kind of person you are, though. If you're someone, well, I guess Japanese people would definitely prefer Honolulu just because Japan's so city life and Honolulu's become that as well. But also, like I mentioned earlier, there's no direct flights to Maui from Japan. So when Japanese people arrive in Honolulu, they're like, "Oh, let's just stay here," you know, and they don't think about the other islands. But yeah, I love Maui. Just how simplistic it is there. The people there, society there knows that they don't need advanced stuff to be like, "Oh, we can entertain people," or "Oh, people can relax here." They don't need any of that stuff. They don't need gigantic 40-floor skyscrapers. They don't need freeways where there's traffic jams for days. You know, they don't need all that kind of stuff. They don't need all the tourism. They don't need like all the whatever else there is, you know, all that crazy stuff. You know, Maui's just, there are beaches everywhere. Let people just go and have fun, you know, and that's it. That's all you need. And that's why I like Maui. It's so relaxing, so much simpler. Oahu is like very uptight. Too much city life. Too much. It's just way too much. Like, we were in Oahu, and for the 2 days that we were there, I was like, I'm in Japan. That's literally what it is. Everyone speaks Japanese in Oahu. There's skyscrapers everywhere. You know, so many people. I was like, I'm literally in Japan right now. You know? That's why, for me, specifically, 100% I choose Maui. If next time I go back to Hawaii, I'm definitely going to Maui for sure.
Honolulu is great, but there's so many skyscrapers, so many people. Waikiki Beach here is just...
Yeah, so many people, and I swear, I don't know if you can tell in the video, some of the people, like, they swam so far out. I was like, how are the lifeguards here not yelling at them? Some people, like, swam, like, they were literally on their surfboards or just, like, in the water, like, way out here. I'm like, you went that far out? Like, I guess, Waikiki Beach, is not that deep. The water, I guess, even if you go far out, it's still not that deep. But still, like, some people went way far out.
So crowded. Maui's just a lot more relaxing. There's no skyscrapers, and it's literally just way less people. It's so much easier just to relax. Don't get me wrong, you can do that here too, but if you're more like a city person or like a New York style kind of person, then yeah, Honolulu is the place to be. Otherwise, definitely recommend Maui for sure.
My broken suitcase, which is literally in front of me right now, I'm throwing that out next month. It's like, it's destroyed. So the moment we left this apartment, when we arrived at Narita Airport, my suitcase just like fell apart. And I had to tie it down with rope. So for the whole trip, I had to use a broken suitcase. Yeah, see all the rope.
Alright, we're heading back home, and from the check-in counter, apparently they told us to get to our gate, where our plane is, it's gonna take a 25-minute walk. So
Yeah, it was a 25-minute walk. From the check-in counter to the gate was literally a 25-minute walk. And then once we got to our gate area, we had to go to an escalator to the second floor to get to the ANA lounge. Only business class and first class people are allowed to enter that. So that escalator, like if you're riding that escalator, you felt like a VIP because only business class and first class people would have a reason to get on that escalator to go up. So I was like, oh, I'm a VIP today, y'all.
for the time being.
And then the entrance of the plane, because apparently the ANA planes that we specifically rode on, I forget what it was called. I think it was called Honu. That's the name of the plane. It only flies from Japan to Hawaii, back and forth. And apparently it's currently right now holds the Guinness World Record for the world's largest passenger aircraft. Yeah. So, because I rode business class, we had to get to the upper deck. So we had to show our boarding passes at the gate, and then we had to get up an escalator to go up, and I was like, oh, I feel like a VIP right now. And then every entrance at the boarding area, there's like those mats, like those red carpets or whatever. I was like, oh, I feel so special right now. And then all the economy class people just have nothing. Once in a lifetime, I tell you, once in a lifetime. The one time I flew business class, and I finally have a story for my future children, if I ever have any.
Go to the lounge, get some food, be on our way back home to Japan.
It was great. Honestly, it's great. Totally worth it. Business class, totally worth it. Although, the reason people get business class is not for the features and stuff. Well, I guess so. It's to sleep, right? That's the reason. It's so you can lay down. That's purely the reason. And that's what I did on the plane. I didn't use the huge HD TV screen that I had. I didn't utilize all the huge table space that I had. You know, I slept. I just laid down and slept, and that was that.
On we go, 25 minutes.
And we got really fancy food too. And every time I ordered a drink, instead of getting it in like those plastic cups or one of those see-through cups like you usually do in economy class, we got in like these really special like wine glasses. I was like, oh my god. And then every time they serve us food, the what is it called, the staff, the flight attendants, they would bring like those really special white napkins, those really high quality ones, and they would do like the what is it, the French style when they go like this, and then they put it on your lap. They like shake it out like that. That's what they did, and they put it on my lap. I was like, oh my god. I'm like, do I deserve this? And I thought to myself and said, yeah, I do. I paid for this ticket, so I paid business class money for this ticket, so yeah, I deserve this. I was like, this is a little much though. Wine glass, nice napkin. They're actually serving me really high quality food. And every like half an hour they would come out to me and be like, do you want some ice cream? Do you want a drink? Do you want a sandwich? I'm like, I don't have to pay for it. You know? I was like, I don't deserve this. But I do deserve it because I paid a lot of money for this ticket. You know?
Apparently.
But I felt so bad. I felt like I felt like a snob. I felt like I was spoiling myself the entire time. But I was like, no, I paid for it, so I'm fine. You know? I have nothing to complain or be worried about, you know?
Alright, so we got like 2 hours to kill, so we're looking for the lounge now.
Those are my parents. See, like I mentioned earlier, my dad's always in the background of all my videos.
Sit there, just relax. Should be just out here.
Unfortunately, I don't have a... What is it called? What are those microphones with like the rat's tail or whatever? What are those called? Unfortunately, I don't have one because I was using my phone. So, hopefully in the future, like I always mention, I do want to get a DSLR camera. So that whenever I do trips like this, it'll be better. And then I can possibly get a microphone attachment and stuff like that. I would love to do that. DSLR camera. That's the one big goal that I want to do for not only for this YouTube channel, but for anything else we do as well. I could utilize it for a lot of things, so I want to do that for sure. Hopefully at some point. A&A Lounge. This one. Yep. That's my uncle. Maybe you could recognize him. Well, you can't see from the back. He's on TV a lot, actually, for his work. Every once in a while, he's on TV. Yeah, see, these type of cups, these plastic cups, that's what you always get in economy class when they give you drinks. But no, we had like those wine glasses. I was like, damn, fancy. And then all the napkins, I think this one as well, they're all made out of tea leaves. It even says on the napkin, they're made out of tea leaves, recycled tea leaves, which I thought was really cool. I thought that was a neat idea. Oh, you can't read the English, it's too blurry.
My last little souvenir before we get...
Yep, last little souvenir. Last little souvenir. That's right. That's right.
on the plane. Pretty cool. Nice.
Yeah, these are the Honu planes. So they're they have faces. They're supposed to be, I think, sea turtles. There's a blue one and there's an orange one. The plane that I took on my way to Hawaii was the orange one. I don't have any footage of it because we couldn't see the plane from all the windows and everything because it was just blocked by all the obstructions and stuff like that. But on our way back, a lot of blue ones passed by, so I was able to get footage of it. It's really nice. These planes only fly from Japan to Hawaii, back and forth. That's it. They don't go anywhere else. But these are apparently, currently right now, hold the Guinness World Record for the largest passenger aircrafts. They're double-decker. So they're even bigger than the jumbo airplanes that you guys see. Even bigger. Yeah, so they're like, yeah, see, these are like sea turtles. And then the front, there's like a face. I don't know if I have footage of that or not. Oh, yeah, see, you can see it. Look, it's a face. There's an eye. And then the mouth. And then the turtle. It's so cute. Japan's like that. Everything in Japan's cute. So yeah, there's a blue one and then the orange version. But unfortunately, I don't have footage of the orange one.
That's our plane.
Woo! Business class! Yeah! The one time in my life. One time experience.
Beautiful.
Ah, yes. Leg room. HD TV, and I didn't turn it on once except for when we were taking off, just to see the front camera. Goodbye, Hawaii. Goodbye, Oahu. God, you guys have no idea how much turbulence there was on this plane, though. Holy Jesus. That's probably where all the nausea came from, and why one of the reasons to why I ended up in the hospital the next day.
Oh, finally back in Japan.
They're my parents again. my parents in all of my like IRL style videos, they're like Easter eggs in video games.
Finally here again.
That's funny.
And language barrier all day long. But it's good to be back.
So yeah, at this time it was like 6 or 7 p.m. Japan time, and then it took us like another 2 or 3 hours because we were at Narita Airport, which is in Chiba. So we had to take the Narita Express, go into Tokyo, which took an hour and a half-ish. And then from there, we had to take a bullet train, so Shinkansen, and then come all the way to Shizuoka, which took another hour and a half. So, yeah, it was nuts. As soon as I got off the plane, I was like, I'm not home yet. I still have hours and hours to go. And I was so tired.
Hope you guys enjoyed.
And then, unfortunately, the very next day, I ended up in the hospital.
And I'm gonna get rest now because I literally have to get home, which will take like another 3 hours, take a bunch of trains, and then in like 6 to 7 hours after that I gotta get out for work. So that'll be all. Hope you guys enjoy. See you guys later.
There you go. That's it. That's all she wrote. And here we are. A week later, I'm out of the hospital, back from Hawaii. And yeah, it was fun. It was fun. What a roller coaster of a January. Yeah. What'll February bring? Valentine's Day is the thing here. Yeah, you know when I have nothing to say about that, that probably means that I'm single. Hey, it's okay. Valentine's Day is not as big here compared to like North America or wherever else. France, maybe. You know. Yeah, big flying turtles, yeah. Yeah, those Honu, it's called Honu. So, H-O-N-U, I guess. That's what they're called. And yeah, they only fly from Japan to Hawaii. That's it. And then the blue version, the orange version. Yep. That was it. That was it. That was my January. And now here we are. And it's like 2 more hours until it's February. New month, new content. We're back. I gotta start bringing up content on this channel and the second YouTube channel as well. The main YouTube channel has not had a video for almost a month now, so I think a lot of people that aren't following me on Twitter probably think I'm dead or that I gave up on the YouTube channel. That is not true! Okay? We gotta get back into it, so I gotta start filming more gameplays and stuff like that. And do some other stuff. And we'll see where we go from there. I don't know. What'll the future bring for these 2 YouTube channels and live streaming and all that kind of stuff? We don't know. I don't know either. Everything's on the spot usually. Sometimes I ask you guys on Twitter what you guys like to see, but most of the time it's just completely on the spot. So we'll see. But yeah, that was my Hawaii trip video. Hope you guys enjoyed. Unfortunately though, and I mentioned it in the video as well, most of the video was just me talking rather than actually showing you guys things that I actually did. One reason, because the main reason, or the reason I should say, that I went to Hawaii was because of my sister's wedding. I didn't really want to film the whole thing and then put it on YouTube. That'd be kind of awkward, so I didn't film any of that basically. And then the tropical storm that happened for the 3 days that we were there canceled all of my ocean related activities. So I didn't do too much. Yeah, but there it is. There you go. Like me in the comments. It sounds good. Yeah, we do live streams every once in a while, so yeah. Who knows what'll be next. We gotta start making videos though. So content on this channel and the second YouTube channel will go back to its regular schedule, hopefully. Live streams every once in a while. We'll do live streams just so I can update you guys on stuff that I'm doing in my life and interesting stories that I ever have to tell you guys about weird things that happen in Japan and stuff like that. And then also for the people that don't have Twitter or not following me on Twitter, this is a good place to keep updated with me. So if you're also not following me on Instagram. But yeah, my Instagram's completely different, like the content and everything. So usually I don't tell people to follow that unless you're really interested in the type of content that I post on there. But otherwise, YouTube channel, Twitter, 2 best places. Otherwise, you'll have no idea that I exist. So yeah, that's it. Hope you guys enjoyed. That was my Hawaii trip for 10 days. And then hospital. And now I'm back. Now I just gotta put these 2 channels back into Drive. And start getting videos going again for you guys. So yeah, hopefully we can do that. Now I can relax. I can just relax now. January's over. Let's bring on February. Actually, let's bring on the weekend. I haven't been able to relax at all for a month. I just want a day where I can just sit and literally stare at the wall and say, everything's fine. Hopefully. I don't know. Maybe you guys can tell me what you want to see. There's on my Twitter. Well, for those of you that are interested in my main YouTube, so this YouTube channel content, I do gameplay videos, Switch games primarily. But there's one poll that I have on my Twitter. Kind of nostalgic. It's kind of hard to explain, but yeah, if you want to see the poll, go ahead. It might actually already have ended. I'm not sure though. But yeah, there might be one nostalgic kind of game that I might play. I may or may not play at some point. It'll be on a live stream on this channel if I decide to do that. So stay tuned for that. Otherwise, yeah, content will go back to normal for sure. I gotta start filming videos and start editing again, do all that stuff, get everything back on the road. And yeah, we'll see. I don't know what else. Anyways, I think that'll do it for today. I'm getting tired. And my voice, I'm gonna start losing my voice if I keep talking, so. And yeah, I gotta check up tomorrow. I got like my yearly doctor checkup that I have to do with my workplace, so. Yeah, I gotta get to sleep and then not be able to eat, even though I have Pop-Tarts sitting right in front of me right now. Yeah, that'll do it. Hope you guys enjoyed. What'll be next? Either a new video on this main YouTube channel, or maybe we'll do another live stream on the weekend. We'll see. I don't know. Anyways, I'm a go. I'm tired. And we'll see you guys in the next content, whatever it may be. Anyways, I'm done. I'll see you guys later. Thanks for watching. We'll be back real soon. Johnny! Later.